She looked like a beauty queen. I took her inside so we could have some fun. She walked around and met everyone. Molly, Molly, you're so fine. Sometimes I wish you were on mine. And every day I dream of you. So please just tell me this is true. We ate dinner and socialized before you and I realized we're stuck in this love boat together. Let's make this night last forever. Molly, Molly, you're so fine. Sometimes I wish you were on mine. And every day I dream of you. So please just tell me this is true. Molly, Molly, you're so fine. Sometimes I wish you were on mine. And every day I dream of you. So please just tell me this is true. Molly, Molly, you're so fine. Sometimes I wish you were on mine. And every day I dream of you. So please just tell me this is true. Tell me. Oh, please just tell me. Oh, please just tell me.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Oh shit!
How's it going? So, one of my rules for being on your show here from my wife was to not make a fool of myself, and I feel like I already broke that within my first dancing.
I don't know if that is actually what would define you as foolish or even foolish behavior. I know your capacity for said things, and that's not it. That's not it. Not even close.
Okay.
You're gonna screw things up royally at some point, like
Okay,
the kind where she's asleep, and you know that you stayed up too late toying around with me on the interwebs. Then you're like, oh, I got that thing to contend with. That one thing.
No, not true, because there are times when I'm allowed to stay up and play video games till all hours of the night, too long for her taste. But I at least am allowed.
Was she a curmudgeon?
No, she just is a loving wife who wants her husband in bed with her when she goes to sleep, which makes sense.
Oh, I forgot this different stage of my life that I had found myself in, where I didn't want anything loving in my bed, or even to know where my house was. Like rent the guest house behind my house. Be like, that's where I live. This is a shed with a bed in it. I'm like, and you're not sleeping over. But this is only a twin. That's right. I'm a large man. My bed. Get the fuck out.
My space.
I thought you liked me. Oh, I like you fine. Just don't want to lose that like. You know what I mean?
Right. Fair.
You can't relate.
No.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a shallow, dark place to live. I'll tell you that. But it could be fun. Could be fun until you find yourself crying yourself to sleep.
Right. Unless you're
in the middle of the day while you're at work.
Different strokes for different folks. That would just cause you to blend in, though.
They're just like, oh, did you just get out of a meeting? Yeah, well, it happens.
Personal meeting, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I should do an intro. Shelf Help Show. The Shelf Help Show. This is Jeff. This is Jake. What's up, Jake? Thanks for being here, man. So let me think. Yeah, I'm happy to have you. I haven't had you for a while, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I thought that's
Mhm.
why you played the song you did. I thought that was special for me.
Molly, Molly, you're so fine. What do you think? What do you think of that song? Was it pretty catchy?
I thought it was very catchy. I thought it was your love note to me. Actually,
It
I thought
was
I
Molly. Yeah, Molly. I just that time that I gave you ecstasy, and then like you're like, "What is this? I'm scared." And it's just Molly, Molly. You're like, "Don't call me Molly." I'm gonna
happiest
call
day
you
at work.
Molly. Yeah, that's a good one. Anybody who's watched my show before, they're thinking, Jeff's not to lying. He's not lying. I wonder if Jake was actually part of it. You'll never know. You'll never know. Everything I say is meant to be taken as theater,
Yes,
unless you can prove it, in which case it's still theater. So it's entertainment.
or unless it improves your life, in which case it was meant to be.
You're welcome.
To
That's
the
how I
max.
get out of the lawsuits when they're like, "Hey, you run this show, this kind of shelf help thing, where you giving people advice?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
I'm giving them suggestions. That's okay.
How do you when you when you make these declarative statements like, "Look, I 100% absolutely know that if you follow my instructions, you will not be depressed and never want to kill yourself." Go. They're like, "That's really something like therapists can't do that." I'm like, "Yeah, they're licensed. I'm not.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
I'm okay.
entertainment. This is
Yeah,
entertainment. I'm
it's
an
fine.
entertainer.
It's an
Nobody
opinion.
should listen to me. No one. It's not even an opinion. It's just noise. It's just noise. Don't listen to it, or
Overdose.
listen to it.
Fall
My
asleep to it.
my kids know better. I'm their dad. They know better not to trust
Fair.
because I'm like, listen. We're all making this shit up as we go. You guys get that, right?
Hmm.
What are you talking about? Oh, we're all 12 in our head every day. We're imposters. We're like, can't believe the universe let me have these little things. That's scary. I shouldn't even
So
have a hamster.
someone's
And I'm like,
someone's allowing me to coach a whole bunch of people. Are you kidding me? What am I going to coach them?
yeah,
Mm,
what was that? Well, I felt like an imposter because we'll give a little backstory. People either know me from work at some place or prison. That's really about it. Those are the options. So we'll talk about prison. Um,
yeah, let's go.
commercial work. Okay, let me pause. I get excited. Jake and I were just doing that thing. We were
Hmm.
petting mice,
Hmm.
and my voice to text, because I don't use my fingers and thumbs to do that. They come out like 9 paragraphs at a time. You can imagine how fast I talk. And then I see the little dot 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 like he's typing, and I'm just like, I'm impatient. Here's another 9 paragraphs. Go. I'm like, I should let him read. And then here's
Perfect.
another 9 paragraphs. I'm like,
Or
okay,
at
I
least
gotta.
respond to what you said before. So we can close that topic to move on to the next one that you're doing. So I don't
The
have to
first
play catch
eight topics. I'm like, Jesus, man, can you go a little quicker? You're younger than I. Like, you should understand. The voice to text technology is pretty solid, and if you use it on a regular basis, it picks up your patterns and it creates an algorithm on you, so then you could be monetized when they sell you to China.
Absolutely. I feel like I don't talk clear enough or correctly enough for my voice to text because it always tends to be wrong, and then I have this perfectionist idea of like, oh shit, I need to have that right, and so I'll go back and adjust and fix. But I'll go back and adjust a fix with the voice to text, which takes even longer than actually just going back and
Mm.
deleting it
You
because
ever,
I'm already committed to the voice to text. I'm doing
right?
this,
And
and
you're
this thing is
yelling,
going to work for me whether I like it or not.
delete, backspace, semicolon. It doesn't do punctuation. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, it did an ellipses. Okay, if it knows the ellipses, it can figure out backspace.
You would think.
Every time I think about it, and it doesn't work. I think there's this technology they have where you have access to the world at the touch of this thing. Maybe I should say, hey, hey, dickhead, how do you voice to text punctuation, and just learn it. But then usually by then something else has come up that's way more interesting.
Look, if I gotta ask my voice to text or Google like my what is it the Google Assistant how to use it and have it
Yeah,
respond to me, then that's
Yeah.
already way too much work, and the technology is not there enough for me to want to use it. I'll just use my thumb, and I use the claw method, the finger method,
Alexa,
because I'm used to small
lights
phones
blue.
from before.
Did you mean living room?
Yes. We have this argument every time.
Okay.
Ooh. Alexa, turn off Spotlight 1.
Ooh, look at all that.
Alexa, turn on the flashy light.
Okay.
Flashy light.
Wow. All right. It's like
Alexa,
a setup, really.
start the stream.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Bitch. Alexa, stop the stream. I made this like 2 months ago. I don't know if it works. Alexa, stop the stream. Such a waste. Fuck it. She's not listening. I'm going to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Anyway,
all right.
I know what you mean. I want to disintegrate her because she doesn't listen. And at one night I say, turn the lights blue, and she doesn't argue. She just does it the whole house. And then another time she said, did you mean the living room? Did I fucking say the living room? The lights, all of them.
All of them.
Turn all of the things purple, all of them. Don't tell me what things you can't turn purple. Just make the things that can go purple. It's easy.
I'll be happy. Just do it.
I'm not impatient. This is not why I'm divorced. It's her fault. Tell me about your clothing. Why are you wearing this stuff? It looks familiar. I believe I have some gear that looks similar, but I don't know.
Oh, no, it's just it felt familiar. You didn't give me a dress code, so I went what felt familiar. But the coat is actually warm, so I'll just probably take that off.
Oh, you stupid. Wow. Face to face.
Much better.
That's interesting. You and I are face to face.
Yeah.
Is that what this is about?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's belly to belly. You wanna get in front of your clientele. Relationship building.
There's my belly.
It's belly. Hold on. If you're gonna get to my hold on. I'll do you one better. Get it up in here. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's as close as
You're stupid. What's this about?
What's what about?
Hello,
my gear.
darkness, my old friend. Hey, look, this is the camera looking out through my shirt at you.
Oh, interesting.
Hey there.
Hi.
What's going on? How are you?
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, you like that? I can see you. I can see you through the window.
That's what I said to you yesterday.
This is not even awkward at all. I swear to you. This is totally normal. Can you hear me? Is my voice coming through? Yeah. I can watch my levels. Anyway, who wants to see my navel? Anyone? You don't. It looks like a hairy bagel. All right. What do we got up here? I hope there's no contraband up here. Let me think. Just the heroin. That's good. So that's you, Jake. This is my monitor. Then this is another monitor. There's Molly. Oh, the band is Alien Atmosphere. Check them out. Alien Atmosphere. They're dropping some new tracks right now. They're on Spotify. I'll play some music along the way. Right before we got on the show, I was talking to Matthew. He and his brother are they're twin brothers. And yeah, the music is really good. It's this kind of like 90s Renaissance. It's got this kind of Empire Records, Gin Blossoms, Dumb and Dumber soundtrack sort of vibe to it.
Right.
We're gonna interview them next week, and maybe we'll get them to play for us too. But it's good stuff. I said, hey, do me a favor. Would you give me an implicit and explicit permission to play your music on the show without me having to deal with copyright crap? Will you give me permission? All I need is actually verbal, and I can actually submit that, because they're going to hit me for copyright guaranteed quickly. And he said, absolutely. Yeah. Anything that's on Spotify, you can play on the show. You have my permission. I said, I don't need a contract. Otherwise I'll just let them know, and they can contact you, or they can take the hit. Or I can't monetize on YouTube, and you'll get paid if they play your stuff. He's like, cool. Always
Nice.
making deals, man. Making deals.
Absolutely. And by the
I
way,
like it.
Vixen, I appreciate that you like the striptease a little bit. My my
You got
wife
more?
was about wearing the t-shirt from the chat or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's Vixen. That's Amber.
Amber.
6969 Vixen. She's got the dirty name.
It reminds me of probably one of my first email addresses.
What was that?
The Vixen. Oh, this. Yeah, just the nicotine.
Oh no, I was wondering what your first email address was. Like I want to know specifically.
69 something, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Balls, boob, fart, something.
Yeah.
What we all do when we're 12 and the internet's new.
Yeah, it was like lickass69 dookie at penis.com. Like, yeah, this is your professional one. And you're like, yeah, the other one was inappropriate.
When I didn't like.
I'd give people feedback when I was hiring. I'm like, what are you doing? First off, learn how to write a resume. This is garbage. Is there no one in your life that loves you? Like no one, no adult who's literate?
Did you Google it?
No, you obviously didn't. I'm like, what is it? This resume is 9 pages long and there's nothing there. Nothing. Like you're applying for a sales position at a company that has the word like finance in it somewhere. So why the fuck do you look like a homeless person? And where's your sales experience? Actually, yeah. Then this guy rattles off like 8 things he did that were sales based. I'm like, what? You worked at a bank, and then you sold shit at a kiosk at a mall. I'm like, wait. How could that possibly be relevant to selling and the word fine? Whoa, weird. Why did you leave that out?
I don't know. Weird.
And he was just like, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm like, that's right. Having a tough day. I'm taking it out on you, and this is highly illegal, and I have to offer you a job now. Fuck.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, I'll take your resume home and I'm gonna fix it. And you come back here tomorrow and tuck your shirt in, and we'll try again for you to not sound like an idiot because I have to give you this job. He's now the vice president, so whatever. Worked out. Of the country.
Right.
His name is Kamala Harris. All right, there you go. That's all the politics I'm doing tonight. That's it. A bad political joke.
Fair enough.
I even moved my American flag is fine, but I moved away my the one that was given to me by a girl I was dating, who was conservative and black. What? Black and Republican? What? How can you be conservative and be black? She's like, what? Are you seriously asking me that question? I said, yeah. I figured you were just obviously left. She's like, why? I said, well, because you know that. Oh, yeah, I'm sounding like one of those people. I'm sounding like the party line that I voted for in 1992. Never mind. So she gave me a flag as a parting gift, and a little touch of chlamydia, but that's fine.
No, that's fine.
No one really cares. I was like, what? No HPV? I'm not going to remember you in like 30 days, but HPV would be like 18 months, maybe the rest of my life.
There you go.
The gift that keeps on giving. This is not what I meant for the show.
Yeah, sorry. We'll go on topic.
Can you be a little more? Yeah. Tonight we're going to talk about. I think I wrote something about it on the interwebs, so we probably have to do it. NLP.
Mm-hmm.
You down with NLP?
Sure.
Yeah, you know me. That's what you say. You down with NLP?
Yeah, you know me.
I'm
too white for that. Sorry.
Yeah, well, there's no such thing as too white. So there's like too much white privilege. Like my kids are half Mexican. They think they have all the white privilege.
Right, because if I was half privileged, I would definitely lean into that side a little bit more than the other. I mean, that's common sense.
Well, you go to a Mexican place, a Mexican restaurant, and my little Caucasian-looking children then try to out-Mexican each other. I'm like, I think you guys are you're the reason identity politics exists. I'm just saying. You pick a side, pick a side.
Pick a side.
Shelby's mom. I'm thinking Shelby's mom is Michelle. Is that Michelle?
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Even if you're not Michelle, hi.
I think that is Michelle. Shelby's mom. Michelle taught me that there were more to girls than the way you felt about your sisters, and that you can have a crush and feel special, and girls are not gross and weird. They are awesome, and you should kiss them. And
Oh,
she taught me that in elementary school.
nice.
And then tried to get me to, not be an awkward young man and actually like date. And I was like, when faced with the opportunity, I didn't know what to do with it.
Oh my God, me neither.
I was like, she's like, we were talking. She's like, remember, we went to your folks' house to make your dad uncomfortable about a story I'll tell later. And then like you told me, I went to your room, and then you came to your room, and you're like, you're allowed to come in the room with me. And I was like, I'll do what I want. And then she was like, hey, and I was like, hi.
You've been
We've
off
been
more than
friends for a long time. And she's like, I thought you were gay, maybe. Like I wasn't sure. Like you just like make a move, stud. And I was like, I don't know what to do now.
like I'm not sure what's appropriate, so I'm gonna make the slightest move possible and expect you to understand. And I hope it doesn't come off awkward.
Yeah,
And that
can
was
you work the
my
rest out for
high
me?
school
I
early
still see
20s.
you as 9. I don't know. You're 9. We're friends. But you can do a handstand and bend over backwards and untie your bra with your toes. So I guess that's a thing.
Fair.
My dad told me I had to marry her when I was 9 because of that. It was a Madonna talent show thing she did. My dad was like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, son, who's that? Who's that one again? The Madonna one? That's Michelle." He goes, "You got to marry her. Marry her."
Nice.
Okay, why, Dad? Any girl who can do a
You'll
handstand.
understand later. You'll understand when you're older.
I was like, thanks, Pops. Thanks, Pops. Hey, welcome to the show, Michelle. I'm glad you've been gone for a couple of months. You stop by. I will just, make sure you feel welcome and uncomfortable, and a little bit moist. So you're welcome. That's why everybody stops by. So the topic tonight, we will hit the topic. Neurolinguistic, what? NLP. What is NLP?
Neuro linguistic programming. So basically, it is a way to use your subconscious, your conscious brain together in order to rewrite the typical patterns of behavior that you're stuck into that you want to change. So, for instance, something like smoking, using NLP to distance yourself from that craving and reprogram basically your mind into not enjoying it as much. That's one application. There are a lot of therapy applications for it, but
Okay.
mostly what I know is the sales application, which when it comes to sales and convincing people, it is a powerful tool that can be used for good or for evil. It really relies on the ethics of the person using it on whether it's a positive experience or a highly manipulative, horrible experience.
So NLP is often associated with like dark arts or dark psychology, And
Right.
if you think if you just hear that alone, dark connotates bad or negative, evil, malicious.
Mhm.
Just like the dark web, although the bulk of the dark web is not dark, evil, and malicious. There are dark, evil, malicious things there, which is the nature of it. But based on the size of the whole body of the internet, what we do out here on the surface is 1% of the actual transaction of data that happens in the dark web. So it's vast and huge, huge. It's an economy that's not even accounted for
Exactly.
up here, which up here is literally here. We're all in the same space, which is weird, right? But there's that connotation. So
Right.
when you think about dark psychology, you immediately go, "Ooh, it's nefarious," and it's used to manipulate people and destroy them.
I mean, it can be nefarious, and it is. I mean, really, if you look at the definition of manipulation, I mean, it is manipulative in a fashion. You could call it manipulative, I guess, in a
So
way.
if
Because
you're manipulating something, it just means it's manual. You're having it change form or direction, right? Something is whatever form or direction it was coming in,
you
whatever
change
direction
it.
it was going, right? It's kind of like the law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
The energy is already there. It can't be created nor destroyed. It only changes form. So you're just helping it change form.
Or directing the change. Really, that's more so what I think it is. Is you're intentionally directing that change of form to whatever it is you want that form to be.
So what how is this possible? And how is it possible to not see that the manipulation is happening? What is it about the way our brains are wired that the alarm bells aren't going off?
Mm,
What do you know of that?
um, it, it,
I read about it a little bit.
oh, nice. Well, then you'll probably have the more exact answer because I'm just going to riff on it. But I think the reason why is because really the commands and the messaging that happens with NLP works more on the subconscious level, which is like more of your limbic brain, right? And your limbic brain, it doesn't understand logic or reason, but it understands emotion and feeling. And what's really crazy about it is your limbic brain, the thing that doesn't understand logic or reason, is also where all the decisions are made. All your decision making happens in that region, and it's based off of feeling. That feeling then is justified by your conscious brain, and you basically make up excuses or reasons why that feeling is truthful, the correct feeling, whatever you want to call it. So when you're able to understand how to give commands or talk more to somebody's subconscious mind, the conscious mind doesn't really understand what's going on because it's a different way of talking. I mean, it seems a little different. You get a sense that it's not the normal speech patterns people have or the normal way people talk, but it's doing its job of reaching that subconscious mind and making real small, slight adjustments to the perception of those feelings, those emotions for whatever stimuli you're trying to change.
Okay, let's pause. Now I know. Now I understand what it feels like when I talk ad nauseum. So give me a second. I apologize.
Did you turn your mic down?
Huh?
You turn your mic down a little bit?
No. Yes. Maybe I did.
That's better.
Jesus, don't judge me.
Sorry, I'm just trying to go better.
I appreciate that. We got to make sure the levels stay up. Sometimes I go back, and because my voice can be overpowering, I realize it's gone down too low, and then it sounds like I'm underwater.
How's my levels?
Garbage, complete shit.
Does my nasally voice and 12-year-old sounding voice come through as it should?
Yeah, well, you have the advantage of being in a frequency that's more familiar with women, dogs, and certain marine life. So
Which is
because
what your show is geared
you don't have
towards.
to,
So that's good.
you don't have to worry about the low end over modulating the electronic equipment. So you come through loud and clear. Abraham Lincoln had a very distinct yet high pitched voice, which allowed it to travel. So depending on the frequency, I unfortunately have a sound like a angry gorilla, or I'm trying to figure out like I can be on a telephone. People are like, I don't understand you, and I'm like I don't. Okay, I hold the phone out here, and I go, how about now? Can you hear me now? And they're like, it's still a little grumbly for Jesus. Hi, my name is Jeff. They're like, oh, that's better. You sound normal. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
You're
And
like, no, I don't like it. And actually, kind of a funny thing, a little self-conscious thing. This is kind of along with the NLP that I've always had in the back of my head. What is it? Insecurity is I sound like a child on the phone, so I try to make up for that by changing my name from Jake to Jacob because, well, that just sounds older, right? So maybe I can sound just a little bit older in some of the things I say, and then I try to use big words that I don't know, in hopes that they don't understand it, but it sounds right enough that I can get on to the next point.
Yeah, that's a plan. Yeah, I don't know if you've shit tested it before, but let me think. Adding a syllable to your name and misusing words that sound more complicated than okay. No, wouldn't work for me. No, I don't get it. Is that how you got your wife? That you're like, hey, my name is Jacob.
No,
And I
but
think you're supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
But Jacob sounds like an older name, right? It's biblical. And actually, I had somebody in my first phone sales explain to me that my name is biblical, son of David. That's all I remember what he said.
What did son of David do that got him murdered?
I don't know. It's something to piss off God, I guess.
It'll happen. They're Jews.
Yeah. But that's the Old Testament.
Yeah, New Testament, which was written after the Jews killed one of their rabbis, doesn't really have anything to do with them anyway. So where's the rest of their story? Oh, yeah, it was rough. It's been rough.
It's been hard.
Okay, so off the political
So
history.
light topics, huh?
Yeah, I can't. I just go wherever the darkness is. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Copyright.
True.
Okay, so let me see if I can summarize and what you taught me so far about NLP.
Mhm.
Neuro linguistic programming, neuro of the brain, linguistic words. So using your brain, words in your brain to motivate your brain to pattern interrupt in some way, or
Yeah.
to
They say reprogram to change that thought pattern or that behavior pattern
Okay.
to something that's more filling or fruitful for you, right? Something that's better for you.
something that's better for you. All right, but
I could
but you
feel
can use it for nefarious purposes if you'd like, because then you can use these word patterns and thought patterns to change how you react to things emotionally. Because what you pointed out, which is good job. I was going to give you a little private chat. Good
I
job
like
on
that.
your.
Yeah, rewire. That's a good way to put it.
Here it comes. Yeah, good job, on track. Smiley face.
I like it.
I'm a fan of limbic brain. I'm a fan of neurobiology. Big fan. I'm a fan of how do we work and why.
Mhm.
I'm always curious about it, and it's actually a lot of. I talk about it a lot when it comes to either sales or relationships or uh, anything. What is going on with the wiring in your brain that you don't even understand that's causing you to reach these outcomes on a regular basis? Because we
Mhm.
wind up in these we create habits that when this happens we react this way, and then we get there and we go, this is not where I wanted to be. What happened? I don't think people question it often enough. I question it because I've made catastrophic mistakes in my life where I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, South African prison. All right, Brother Mandela, we're going to get you out of here. What happened? The Mandela effect. Next. I thought he died in prison in 1982.
No.
That was Stephen Biko, guys. Gosh,
Uh,
that's the Mandela effect.
why is the ultimate question?
Misremembering things, and that's part of the psychology too.
Mhm.
So you said the limbic brain deals with emotions, and it's a chemical reaction, right? Emotions are a chemical reaction. Everything has a biology behind it.
Sure.
So your limbic brain is the caveman brain. That's the assumption is it's the same brain that a chicken has. Actually, they have like the very like minimum of what is it? Fight, flight, fuck. That's about it.
Freeze.
Very
I can
basic.
fight, freeze,
Yeah, fight, flight. It frees. Thank you.
and reproduce.
And
But that's
reproduce.
more of the lizard brain, really. That's actually the lizard brain, right? That really just knows those.
You know that the lizard and the chicken
Very,
have
very
the same
instinctual.
wiring. Actually, it's strange. One just has feathers. Otherwise, okay, cool.
Fair. Whatever. It.
So, your limbic brain is the one that keeps you from getting eaten by lions, right? It's the part of your brain that triggers you to react to something. So
Mhm.
you go to you're listening to music and you're talking on the phone. And you go to step off the curb, and something goes, "Oh no! Look out! A car!" And you're like, "Ooh, that was close." That's your limbic brain. There's no words. It's not saying, "Hey, look out." It's just saying, "React." Stimuli is here. It's the same reason why we react when babies react when they see a snake. Humans, period, react to snake as with the startle reflex. Babies, they don't know. They have the exact same startle reflex. There's something in our limbic brain that we were taught long, long time ago. Snakes are bad. Okay.
Well,
I think it was
think
a
about
Garden of Eden personally, but
think about it this way, because your subconscious part of that is what I call the lizard brain, which is really the very like bare bones instinctual things that all animals have. Because all animals know that they need to eat, they need to protect themselves, fight or flight, right? Either by fighting, running away, or freezing. Because there's also the freeze response. You see goats do that.
that's a beta response.
It's the play dead response, and reproduce, right? Because that's what really, I think, a big part of the purpose of life in general is. If you look at life objectively, it's to continue adding more life.
Propagate
That
the species.
That's what
make more
all
taxpayers.
species goes for, right? Is how can I have more of us and whatnot. So that's part of
We're just like
the
ants.
what's that?
So we're just like ants.
Oh my God, yeah. But there's also in humans there the limbic brain's more developed because we have a more of an emotional range that goes into play with our decision making. So really, if you were to sum up the limbic brain, it's your decision making center. It's really what guides the choices that you make, big or small. I mean, that's all our lives are made up, is a combination of millions and millions of choices that we make every day. What am I wearing? Am I going to continue breathing? What am I going to drink? What am I going to eat today? All of those choices come from that decision making center. It's and then it's your conscious brain that tries to make sense of it all and try to apply some sort of meaning to why do I feel this way. So like Jeff said, when a car comes at you, I jump because my instinct is fast, big, moving object towards me can kill me. It's just known. Something big moving that fast towards me is scary. A baby with a snake that's an unknown. It's an unknown animal. It moves different than I've seen. It seems like it could hurt me because I don't know what it is. So I'm scared or nervous about it. Right. And then we use our reasoning center to give meaning to why did I do that.
Cucumber and a cat.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Mm-hmm.
People messing with the cats, put the cucumber down, and that startle reflex.
Doesn't work.
I tried that. My cat doesn't care at all. I can't scare it. Mm-hmm. I think it's already dead inside. But anyway,
it's just too comfortable. It's too comfortable in its environment. That cat knows that anything really in this house, most of the things in this house aren't going to hurt me. So if something new is introduced, it's probably not dangerous because that's my experience so far.
Right. I guess she's made it to 22, 23 years old for a reason. So she gives 0 Fs, 0. Mm-hmm. Meow.
But that's kind of the cool thing is if you learn how to talk to that subconscious and change those patterns of emotional reactions or thoughts there, it will then start to change your reasoning behind why your reactions are or your decisions are what they are, and starts to move you towards what change you want to go to, because your conscious mind talks to your subconscious mind. And anytime we were actually talking about this not too long ago, the confirmation bias with social media, how it just keeps feeding you the same stuff that it sees that you pay attention to and read, and it just deeper and deeper ingrains that truth of what you're reading. If you read something, or if you're told something enough times, like if you're told that the sky is actually red, we just perceive it as blue, but that's wrong, it's actually red, and you move to like New Zealand and everybody there has the same opinion, it's only a matter of time, and it'll be a different matter of time for everybody. It's only a matter of time before you call home and say, hey, by the way, did you know the sky is actually red for this reason? You will change the way you think as a survival tactic too, because you've heard that same piece of information repeated so much that it's not just in your conscious brain, it's gotten down to your subconscious, and your conscious has told your subconscious how to feel, really. So you have control in a sense. Your mic's off again.
I muted myself.
I like it.
Happens. It's because I've got the COVID pneumonia. Mm-hmm. That's why I bought these primetime cigars. I'm trying to get the trying to get that.
Get the devil out.
I had SARS-CoV-2. I'm starting to get my taste back, so that's good. I was really popular at the truck stop for a while though, because I couldn't smell anything. Nothing bothered me. No gag reflex. Go COVID. Anywho. Let me make sure we're answering the questions that we need to answer here.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I made some promises, I think, about the show. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. No, apparently I didn't say whatever I wrote about you.
No,
I think there's a couple of things that I was going to promise that people were going to get out of tonight's. I think
I
one was
can
like
read
someone was like top 7 reasons why they're lying to you. You're being manipulated. It's all a sham. Wait, no, that's opinion.
it. That's
Let's
opinion.
see. Find out the top 7 ways where we are manipulated through dark psychology every single day. Every
Mm.
single day. What do you think? What are some examples of ways that
Social media. We just talked about that. It's a
7
huge
ways?
one.
Facebook, YouTube, Google. Yeah, just go on.
Well, anything.
Anything.
Almost anything now where we search on the internet that is associated, like with Chrome. You have your Gmail login that's associated with Chrome. So anything that has some sort of tracking to
Yeah.
you, which is any browser out there at all, as soon as you start using it, you could
Right.
delete it and then start anew. But what happens is all of these social media companies, all of these big internet companies, they use AI to learn. That's adaptive. It learns your preferences and what you like based off of your IP address, your username, whatever it is, whatever that piece of information that ties you, your phone number, your anything that you put into the internet. And then what it tries to do is repeat more and more of that same thing that you spent a lot of time looking, researching.
Yeah.
It tries to feed that to you more and more because their whole goal with the AI is to keep you engaged with that platform, whatever that platform is. The problem with that, though, is it's manipulative because you only see things that, as humans, we're attracted to an idea or something that we read. Where we read it, we start to think about it, and if that message is then put in front of us from different sources, over and over and over again,
Then our
it can
bias is
be repeated.
confirmed. Our point
Exactly.
of view is confirmed, right? So what does bias mean? Bias is leaning. So what direction are you gravitating towards? It doesn't have
Right.
bias. Doesn't have anything to do with racism or classism or any of the isms. It's used as such. Oh, that's a biased opinion. That just means your opinions are going to lean one direction or another. You go neutral. I have no opinion. To whatever. It doesn't matter where you lean.
So
Everybody leans.
this is what I understand from based off of what my experiences in the world. And that's actually kind of circling back. That's one of the primary tenets in neurolinguistic programming is they say that the map is not always the terrain. What we do is we build a map. Oh, go ahead.
No, let me process that. Hold on.
Sorry.
You get these moments where if I was fast enough typer and I wasn't looking at adult sites in the background, I would put these key phrases up here. So let's see. The map is not what?
Always the terrain.
Oh, okay. We got to unpack that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? I mean, it means
what does that mean?
Yeah. So we create maps of
Dialogue.
how we navigate through the world, right? All the time. And that's based off of our past experiences or what we're taught from people who we really trust and believe even naively what they're saying. So we build a map of the world to teach us instinctually, right? To keep us alive and so we can reproduce and eat all those really lizard brain things that we need to do. We create a map of how to interact with the world, but that map can be incorrect. It can be like the maps of Lewis and Clark when they were exploring. Their maps are probably less detailed that they had to explore or that they even created are far less detailed than Google Maps is now because Google Maps has far more information.
Sure.
You're muted again.
No, I'm not.
And really low.
I'm not muted. What are you talking about? All right,
Just a little bit with the volume.
A little bit.
There you
I'm
go.
just gonna cough. I'm just gonna cough in the microphone. At
Yeah,
this
cough in the mic. I don't care. It adds character.
No, this is gonna take care of it. Watch me.
Mhm. Like it. So the map that we build of what the world is in our eyes, our perception, I guess, is what the map is really, is our perception of the world. How many times have we been sure in our assumption of how something is, or what somebody thinks of us, or what a situation, what happened in a certain situation, while that's what feels real to us because of our map, the actual terrain, the actual truth of the matter could be far different.
Right.
So the whole idea is
Happens all the time.
Yeah, happens all the time.
And the more you tell your version of the story, the more likely it is that it's going to adjust. And as it adjusts, that's going to be your truth. And you can be 180 degrees from where you started off.
Exactly. That map that you start drawing, the more you tell yourself the same parts of that map are correct, the deeper that etching almost into stone of that map, right? The deeper that map's etched into your brain, and the harder it is to actually see the terrain for what the terrain is. And that's the whole idea, or the whole principle, main principle of NLP is, if you can break from the understanding that your map is correct and allow for, hey, I have errors within my map, I need to now stop looking at my map and actually look up and see what's happening. I can then change my map, which is the way that I think my patterns, what they call in NLP, my behavior patterns, I can change those behavior patterns now because I can explore the actual terrain versus I'm just looking at the map.
Interesting. Deep. Give me an idea of something simple that somebody would be, if you're looking into NLP and you want to change patterns. What are some examples of things that people would want to change? Their desire to smoke when they have pneumonia.
Smoking addictions, fears.
I don't smoke otherwise. Because my lungs hurt.
Right. Sure. Opinions, ideas, fears, behaviors. Right.
So NLP and hypnosis, how are they related?
Because they're similar. They're trying to get to the same type of change, I guess, or manipulation, if you will. They kind of go at it with a little bit different of a method, but the whole idea is talking to the subconscious and influencing the subconscious to change its pattern. So with hypnosis, you're put into a state where your conscious brain is more shut off, right? Almost like that half dreaming state, to where commands to the subconscious are easier to set in. That's why a hypnosis can get somebody to act like a chicken. It's not because of anything magical. It's because they're in such a state of relaxation with their conscious brain that they're susceptible to most suggestions. Some people can be hypnotized, some people can't. I don't know why some people can't. I don't know the difference there, but it's the same type of thing. There's actually, when you look into NLP and see some of the old masters of NLP, they'll do stuff that is in line with hypnosis. They call them pattern interrupts. Yeah. So for instance, the easiest one is like a handshake, right? A pattern of behavior of something that you always know what to do. If somebody sticks out their hand, you're more than likely pre-COVID to shake it, right? It's just a natural reaction.
I like it.
Now, if that person grabs your hand or does something different other than just shake your hand, if they grab your hand and then tell you to focus on your palm, this is one of the ways that they can hypnotize people really quickly. And look at your hand, there's a good chance that because of that pattern interrupt, your limbic brain and your conscious brain, it kind of short circuits. It freaks out. It's like, wait, this shouldn't happen. Is this good or is this bad? How should I react?
Oh, okay.
And I have that person tell me how to react. I'm susceptible to that actual suggestion. And so if they turn my hand instead of shake it and say, look deeply into your palm, you feel your eyes are starting to get heavy as you look into the crevices of your palm, and you start to do that because it's broken up and they're skillful in how they do it. All of a
Because
sudden,
I like what you said. Let's just pause for a sec. You are expecting a certain outcome, and it's instinctual to expect this outcome. These are patterns
it's a
that are very
pattern.
common in life, and
Right.
and even a positive pattern that you're expecting some positive reward for it. So you're going in for the handshake. It's gonna, and then all of a sudden, your brain's like, "What just happened? I'm going in with neutral positive, and then now I'm stopped, and now I'm fight or flight." Your amygdala is going to misfire immediately, and then to calm that down, you're looking at your own hand, which is not a threat to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
It's kind of genius. It is genius. Well, I think that's the whole idea behind genius. Oh! Somebody thought of something that. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
There's an easy test that you can do, kind of easy. It may work, it may not, because I'm kind of just making it up on the spot, but it'd be interesting. I bet it would work. I bet it would work
I feel like
more
you've done
times
a lot
than
of tests on me.
yeah. Well, we could talk about those too. This is a little bit different, but high fives, right? I used to do where we work together. I used to do high fives all the time because it would make people smile. It's hard not to smile when somebody puts their hands up and you actually give them a high five, even if you're
Strangers,
apprehensive. Nope, and you
strangers
give
at
them,
a restaurant. I go and high five strangers at their table. They'll do it.
they'll do it and they'll enjoy it. They'll smile. They'll feel awkward, but they'll smile. Go for the high five. Stop the high five before they hit it. Tap them on the shoulder, and then if they're standing, tell them to sit down. Just see if there's a chair available. It's not gonna hurt them or anything like that. But if there's a chair available, and you do it quickly enough, chances are they're gonna sit down, and they're not gonna know why, because that pattern got interrupted. The brain freaks out, and it's looking for how do I react.
Right.
The limbic brain is looking, how do I react? And if it hears a command in that time, it's probably going to follow that command as long as that command doesn't come from a perceived danger.
Right. So your brain thinks it's giving itself a command because your limbic brain is going based on chemical reaction and it's instinct, and then your cerebral cortex, which is language logic,
Oh, thank you.
describes everything.
I've been trying to remember that name for the longest this whole time. Cerebral cortex. Thank you.
So
all the creativity out the window. Bye.
it's the thing with the melon and the ounce with the stuff. Yeah, that one. So it hears the suggestion, and because it's in pattern interrupt mode, it doesn't know that it's not its own suggestion. And since your inner monologue is made up of vocabulary, that's how you process the world. You're walking around, there's a million words going. You're labeling everything around you in your environment all day long. You're just like, oh, chair, this, that, person, that, hungry. Ooh, what's that feeling? All that stuff is going on when you're in that vulnerable state. It has no idea. Obviously, if you were to scream, "Sit down," it'd be like, that wasn't me. It has to be presented, like you said, in a non-threatening way.
Exactly. And because we're so advanced as humans, our brain is always looking to cut corners, because the more corners we could cut accurately, the higher our chances for survival. Like the less our brain actually has to compute stuff, and the more it can just rely on outside thing or something else, lower its resources for actually thinking, the happier the brain is, because it's easier to survive if that can be trusted.
So driving to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that there's memes and tropes around this idea of, you get in the car, you go 50 miles and you get there, you have no clue how you got there.
Yeah,
no memory of it, none.
You're an automatic.
However, you're confident that while you were there doing it, that nothing bad happened. You go check your bumper, there's no matted hair or blood. You're like, okay, we made it. You wouldn't even question it unless you had a close call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You wouldn't
even think about that trip ever again unless some event was big enough to cause a memory for it, I guess.
I was
majority.
driving through. I was driving out of state, and over the weekend or last weekend, and I got to Phoenix from Tucson, and I realized I slept the whole time. And it was this moment where I was drifting, hitting the brr, brr, and that's when I was like, "How long have I been doing this? How am I still doing 75 on a 2-lane road? How did I have no recollection outside of Picacho Peak of anything that happened up to that point, and I knew I was tired and I was blacking out while I was driving. I think obviously I stayed on the damn road. Obviously I was still going. I didn't set my cruise control on purpose, I realized, because if my foot came off the gas, at least something would change. So it was like almost it's insane. It was frightening that you could do that for 100 miles on the freeway at 75 miles an hour during traffic on a Friday, and then go, I survived that.
Mhm.
That's how strong that limbic brain is. You create those habits. People aren't born knowing how to drive cars. It's something you pick up over time, but your brain is constantly absorbing stimuli around you, going like, "We got this. Okay, we'll save this for next time." It's like the RAM versus ROM versus what's stored in your RAM, man. It's stored there. It's ready to go. You don't have to dig into it. But I was joking when I called my girlfriend. I was like, she's like, "How's your trip been so far?" I said, it was relaxing. I slept all the way to Phoenix. So don't say that. Don't say that. I'm like, no, I did. I did. I made it. I'll be awake for the rest of the trip. I guarantee you that, because I was like, I feel like I got lucky. Apparently I got good. I think I scared some people in some trucks, but
You got lucky and we're good. But
right.
I've had similar experiences too. But even thinking about that state that you experienced, that's the hypnotic state. That's a constant state where if somebody was in the car with you while you were in doing that, if they gave you a calm, comforting messages, they would be able to manipulate your behaviors pretty much from there on. That would be a state where you could get somebody to stop smoking. Now, if you're falling asleep like that, somebody's talking to you from the passenger seat, you're probably going to be a little bit more alert and awake, more than
Right.
likely, unless their voice was very smooth, soothing, and a part of you entering that state.
Right. Well, it makes sense why when I stopped at the rest stop, I got out and I was like, "I love you, Joe Rogan. Anything you say, I'll do." Apparently, I was listening to Joe while I was in that hypno. I think he did it on purpose. This is
You
how
know
he's
that
got 30 million listeners.
I think that's why I started to love self-help and personal growth is driving in Wyoming from Douglas to go to the mall or Walmart or a movie theater that had current running movies was always a 46-mile drive, right? And I would always fall asleep. My mom would always play her books on tape. And as I'm falling asleep, I'm hearing, the 7 habits of highly effective people in my head and
Even
picking
R.
up
Covey.
on some of those things. Yep, exactly. And then learning how to apply them just naturally when I'm arguing with my mom and I finally win and tell her, hey, you know what? I'm really heated right now. I don't think I can have a good conversation with you. So do you mind if I go into my room and cool down? And then can we talk about this together when I'm a little bit more level headed and can speak appropriately? And seeing the look of pride and anger both on my mom's face, as it should be, because wow, that's a real mature thing you did. Where did that come from me, who then is just a shithead? Where did that come from? And god damn it, it works. Like I can't tell you no for that, because you just used a lot of what I've been listening to on how to deal with conflict.
Right.
I don't know where it came from. It was just an inspired thought in my head. And when it worked, I was like, holy shit, I won. And went back to my room, happy
Right.
as
And
a
then
fucking lamb.
she's gassed out. She doesn't want to readdress it anyway. So the argument's over.
No, I win.
It's done. It's over.
For one time.
They're gonna be like, "Hey,
Never
listen,
worked, never worked again.
so I will f you up. You don't talk to me like that." So okay, so is that an example? So that is an example of
It's a strong example. I've had the same thing where I was driving when I went to community college in Riverton for a semester, Riverton, Wyoming, and would drive back home hungover from partying with all my college friends because that's all I did and didn't go to class, which is hence the one semester. I drove 100 miles, 100 miles an hour on a one-lane road because that's mostly what the roads were in Wyoming and still are. What was it? 150 miles and making it in record time, but being woken up the same way from the force of like a semi or a car on the other way pushing my car out a little bit was enough to kind of wake me up, or the side rails, which was my, oh shit, I'm not going straight, do your job type
Wow.
moment. But I don't remember most of the trip, but I made it somehow. It's the same thing. It's your
Was there any bargaining with God on your way? Like, don't let me die, please.
No. No, it's mostly I got to get home as fast as I can. My eyes are droopy. I'm tired. Oh shit, I'm falling asleep. Oh shit, there's the I feel the rumble strip. Oh shit, I better correct. Oh wait, why did I get thrown this way really quickly? Feeling. That's a pretty nice map. You're looking at Douglas, Arizona, by the way.
Am I?
Yep.
No, it says Douglas, Wyoming.
Is it?
Yeah.
No. Well,
It has attractions. It has Douglas, KOA Journey, POW Camp, Douglas Officers Club, State, Tractor Supply Company, Broken Wheel Truck Stop.
This is the town that I introduced my wife to in August, who comes from Maine, Gardner, Maine, which is a very small town. And as we approached Douglas and took the exit, which there are two exits to take for Douglas, she goes, "Holy shit, you're from a really small town." It's like, yeah I know.
So let's zoom out. So Wyoming, is Wyoming a large state?
It's very large.
Okay.
There are more cows in Wyoming than people.
That's insane. Okay, look at that. Wow.
I think the population of Wyoming in totality might be about 500,000, I want to say.
What? Tucson City is 500,000. Pima County is 1 million.
Yeah.
The whole.
Here, I'll look it up. 2021. Let's see. 590,013 inhabitants.
Okay, well, let's push search the area. Let's see what we want to search for. This is how I judge most any place. How many Walmarts do they have? Let's find out.
Ooh.
Why did we just come back to Tucson?
Not one in Douglas. You'll find one in Casper, Cheyenne, Gillette, Laramie, Rock Springs, Sheridan, and that may be it.
Why are we?
Oh, I forgot Green River. No, Green River. Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole will have one. By the way, I haven't lived here. I'm 38. I haven't lived there since I was 17. But I just know.
There's a Safeway. So you know it's good.
There used to be a Pomida. I don't know if anybody knows what a Pomida is, but it's like a TJ Maxx, I think.
We're in downtown. So your cousins, were they hot?
Didn't live there. No.
You didn't live here?
My cousins didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're in Colorado and Kansas, I think, in California.
This is the epicenter of shit happening in Douglas?
Well, if you go, you're on Jackson, aren't you? Yeah, that looks like Jackson. So I think if you continue heading down Jackson, you'll hit the high school, which is probably more so the epicenter of the town, really.
That's where all the hot chicks are?
Sure.
I keep getting older. They stay the same age.
They stay the same age.
I knew a guy named Jake who had that motto. Um,
We won't talk about my wife's age then.
he was
Uh,
yeah, he was turned by the emperor. Just so you know. Where's the high school? Where are we going? Where are the hot chicks?
Jackson.
How old
Or
is your
no,
wife?
Hamilton. No, we're on the wrong street. Sorry, it's
Oh,
down
sh-
Hamilton.
yeah.
You're right.
I'm gonna give up now. That's enough. All right.
Yeah.
So, how old is your wife?
She is 28,
Nice.
27
Good
or
work, sir. Good work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's not the best thing about her. Her looks aren't the best thing about her, which are phenomenal.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She is a highly ambitious, intelligent, well, and funny, by the way. She gets my weird ass humor and plays
Wait,
around with me, which is amazing.
girls aren't
Um,
funny. We know this. Women are not funny.
yeah, no, she is.
Are you laughing at her or with her?
With her, she's funny to me, but I also love her, so I guess there's a little bias there.
Yeah. I tell my
But
girl, you're funny
she
for
is
a girl.
hilarious.
Like, you were laughing your ass off. I'm not stupid.
She
for a
keeps
guy.
up with our Family Guy references. Last night you were talking with John about references, movie references, and
Yeah.
shit like that. She keeps up with all that stuff and spouts them herself. Actually, she does a lot of SpongeBob references too, which I didn't know until I was
Stop.
dating her. How funny SpongeBob really fucking is.
Yeah.
Holy cow,
That's hilarious.
it's a great show.
I like SpongeBob. SpongeBob is the best.
I do, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as soon as a hot chick likes it, then you're like, I'm not a dork. I'm cool.
Uh-huh.
SpongeBob, Atomic Dork Squad, right here.
Oh, I
Atomic
like
Dork
it.
Squad, Sundays at 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock? I don't know. 6 o'clock? I don't know when it is. We're all in different time zones. With Stupid since 1981. Three of us have been friends. So
Is that where your picture headshot was from, 1981?
that one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Are you saying I look older now?
Sure.
That's
However you wanted to take it in the worst way possible.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so NLP, it's part of dark psychology because it has a propensity to for manipulation. It is manipulation. You're manipulating thought process and pattern through speaking to your limbic brain your emotional brain or your fight or flight brain, getting it to reprogram around certain stimuli. How do you change a habit? You have to kind of map out what's going on that brings you to that habit. And if it's something that, although you love it, may be destructive, we'll say something easy like smoking, then you have to identify what is it that triggers me when I'm feeling joy from this thing. How do I map out the behavior that the autonomic responses that drive me to want to pick it up in the first place? How do I stop this thing? And then if I do it, then instead of saying it's over, how do I get myself to rewrite how I perceive the outcome?
Right.
Is that about right?
Yeah, it's all about it's all about focusing on cause and effect, right? Or I like to call it consequences, right? Every decision has a consequence. It could be a good consequence, positive or negative, really, and probably not using the word
I call it
consequence
discipline.
in that,
Well,
but a consequence of what you do.
Yeah.
And so if that's one way to change your behavior is to focus on the consequences more. And if the weight of the consequence and that meaning is worse than the enjoyment of the action, you'll probably stop. Or another way is through like visualization of things. That's a big tenet in NLP too, to distance yourself away from the enjoyment of things. So, for instance, if I wanted to get Jeff, if Jeff was a smoker, I wanted to get Jeff to stop smoking, or actually, it works better with fears. If Jeff was definitely, if he was agoraphobic and afraid of going outside, what I would do is I would ask him to play a movie of going outside, of that fear, whatever that fear situation is. I'd ask
Right.
him to visualize it and play a movie of playing out a scenario. And I don't care how that plays, especially if it's negative. That's even better, because I'm going to ask him to look that in his head and actually visualize it as vibrant and as colorful as he does when he's in the moment of thinking about going outside and that fear. I ask him to think about that and play the movie in his head. And then after he plays the movie, I tell him to close his eyes, play that movie again. Now, instead of having it in color, turn that color to black and white, because now there's some distancing. If it's not in color and it's in black and white, now it's like watching TV and it's not really real, right? Because it's not black and white. And then what I do is I tell them, okay, now visualize that again in black and white, but now shrink the picture in your head. Think of that movie playing in your head, but now you're sitting in you're sitting outside while that movie's playing on a smaller TV inside. You're distancing yourself from that image. And then I continue to suggest to, hey, shrink that image until it's barely recognizable, but you know it's still playing, it's in black and white. And you do that enough times, and all of a sudden that fear, that movie that you play of what's my consequences from taking this action, if I play that movie and distance myself and shrink it and turn off the sound, make it as bland as possible, then all of a sudden that starts to represent my fear for going outside, and that fear is starting to shrink. That's one of the ways I reprogram my subconscious to no longer have an emotional reaction to that thing, because now it's just a small little black and white TV that I can barely see playing that consequence that doesn't mean anything to me. It's not real, or as real as what I thought it would be.
You take the power away from it.
Exactly.
Now you're controlling it, and you're controlling. So hold on a second. I'm kind of hearing that the Matrix might be real, and that
Who knows?
this is all possibly simulation theory. We see the
Sure.
world as we are told to perceive it because we are programmed to do so. If anyone has done psychedelic adulterants before, you understand that it's not this chemical that's creating how you change your perception and view of the world. It's lifting, or it's helping to connect synapses that were not connected before, that give you a different perception of what you've already trained yourself to see.
Oh,
So,
that's so smart what you said. Oh my God. Say that again. Explain to me.
No, it's not practice. No, I've said it before. So it's not the chemical itself that is creating visions or hallucinations for you to see. It's actually the chemical that is connecting synapses in your brain that weren't connected before, that allow you to kind of lift that veil and see what was out there in the first place. So it doesn't create visions. Your brain changes how it views what's in front of it.
Right. And it doesn't show you the truth necessarily. It shows you a different way of thinking about the truth, so that you can break with that confirmation bias and open yourself up to learning a new way to thinking about it. That's why like psilocybin is so being used for like antidepressant and helping people with anxiety, because it gives them a different way. It forces them actually in a way to look at the world differently. And it can be scary sometimes, but the fact that they went through the trip, even if it was a scary bad trip, the fact that they went through the trip, came out alive and well, just as good as they went in before, but it was a bad trip, then it's all of a sudden like, shit, that was the scariest thing I've done in a long time, and I'm okay, I'm here, I'm alive. Maybe going outside isn't as scary as I think it is either.
Right.
It gives you
the psilocybin is being used quite a bit, or however you pronounce it. You said in a way that doesn't sound right to me, but that's fine. But the chemical that's in mushrooms that
I was reciting a Incubus song, which is
is that what that was?
Yeah.
No, I was never emo, so I've been a man for a long time. No Incubus here. Bad Daddy. All right, so psilocybin. Also, what else?
LSD.
Ketamine. Ketamine is being used. Actually, you can go to ketamine clinics, walk in, and
Ayahuasca or peyote.
they'll dose
Same
you with
thing.
ketamine, which is a anesthetic, but it reconnects parts of your brain that are disconnected. And the reason they would use it in field medicine before it was ever used in veterinary medicine was because if somebody was injured on the field, you needed them to not scream, right? You didn't want them unconscious because you need them to help kick along and move, right? But you need them to not react. You need them to not get you killed. So that's why they use ketamine. Anesthesia means it's creating a memory lapse. That's what anesthetics do. They don't take away pain. They take away the memory of pain. So strong anesthetics are used to remove the memory of you being shot, so you don't fucking panic. So if you're on the battlefield and you're shot, you can be like, "Oh, I was shot. I was fucking shot, guys. I'm shot." And you see people panic when they get shot. It's not specifically because of the pain, but it's the trauma response that you're having. Your brain's doing something.
It's what that pain means or will lead to. It's that perception of I've been shot. This has to hurt.
This is
This
is not going to end well. This is bad.
It's like when you stub your toe. Next time you stub your toe or bump
Delayed.
something that has a sharp pain to it, rub it just until it stops hurting, and just the constant feel of yourself rubbing and touching that thing. Your what is it? Your God dang, I can't think of it. Your touch receptors. Sure, that's a word, weird way. But your feeling of touch is like, okay, this is fine, this is fine, this is constant, and it interrupts that pain cycle of, ouch, I just hit myself. Am I okay? If you're rubbing it, you're like, oh shit, my arm's still here, or my toe's still here, my toe's still here, and the pain goes away. It's like when you look at the difference between, not to be racial or anything, but when you look at the difference between how some very loving white families treat their child when they fall down. Oh my God, are you okay? Oh, come here, baby. Oh, that had to hurt so bad. Ouch. That's commands that go into their head of like, I should be in pain. Oh, and I'm gonna cry more.
No, we go like, oh my God, that was outstanding. Get up, man. Lips, kid, do it again.
Right. You look at not to call them out, but Latino families that I've been around that will be like, mijo, you're fine. And that suggestion of, oh, I'm fine. Yeah, I am fine. You're right. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I would laugh especially if I knew it was like, that was pretty hardcore. A kid would take a spill and you're like, whoo, oh shit, but oh man, that was amazing, man. Good job, man. That was amazing. Look, you stuck the landing. Woo! Like, what?
Who was it? Sean Aker. It was like Sean Aker talking about unicorn tricking his. That's NLP right there. Tricking his sister into thinking falling off the bed, playing whatever war games they're playing. Like, did you see what you did? You didn't fall off the bed. You're a unicorn. You started to fly. That was amazing. Holy shit, I want to be a unicorn. You're right. I'm amazing.
You want to be Amy, the little girl with the broken arm, or the unicorn who just flew magically out of the bed?
Right. My broken arm doesn't hurt because I'm a unicorn. I'm magical. Fuck, that's better than the pain. Cool.
That was probably my first two probably shelf-help shows I did, was actually going back and picking up some of the inspirations I've had over the years. And Sean Aker was one of them. And I watched some of the clips and I'm like, this guy it's not just content, but delivery. This guy had this perfectly packaged 18-minute TED Talk that was rapid pace, funny as hell, and was crazy because when you hear him lecture, he's boring compared to his TED Talk. But he had this perfectly packaged, like humorous, and you're like, I'm in it to win it. And he's reprogramming your brain to be happy. And that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of
the happiness advantage and convincing you that, hey, there is this advantage because look how happy I am with his stories because it's funny, and that humor aspect makes the situation light enough to where your natural instincts of danger go away and you're more engaged because it feels good. It feels good to laugh. So of course you're going to leave somewhat that joke anyways, that joking, and especially when it's put with fact. It's like, yeah, I could totally see his sister jumping up because she realized I'm a unicorn.
Yeah.
Because pain is just a neurons firing and a signal like, hey, something might be wrong. Pay attention.
Caution.
But if it's not life threatening, okay, move on. Which actually kind of brings up something interesting that I learned recently that maybe we could figure out how it plays into it. But when we talk about things like muscle memory or things like that, I'm starting to learn that I don't think that your brain houses all your memories. When we're talking about driving, like you did, and being able to correct course when you feel rumble on one side versus the other, that's a muscle memory. Is that memory stored in your brain, or is that actually stored in your muscle? When it comes to your muscles or fibers, anything that's connected by these neurons can actually hold some sort of memory, if you want to call it that, some sort of remembrance for that action you did. Like taking a drink, you don't have to look where your mouth is in order to take a drink and watch your cup come up to your mouth because you're so used to doing it. You just know where it is, right?
Right.
Is that from your subconscious brain actually telling those muscles to do it, or is your subconscious brain also split out throughout your entire body, connecting it all, saying, hey, this is how I take a drink. I don't need to think about it consciously, or breathing.
How about phantom limb syndrome? So let's
Same thing.
extrapolate out that way. So you have your arm is severed from the elbow down,
Mhm.
and the palm of your left hand, which hasn't been there for forever, years, it itches, and you can't get that itch to go away. So it's a deferred pain or nerve reaction to a nerve that doesn't exist. Where's that memory stored, and then how do you overcome that?
But it's stored within the nerves that do exist, right? Because those are linked in a chain. Like, so say my arm here is cut off right at my elbow, right?
Mm.
The neurons and muscle fibers and all that are in my arm that or like my bicep or whatever that bring my arm forward, those are still alive and well, and they're used to knowing that if I have a pain in my thumb, it's going to travel from my thumb all the way up through those neurons. Now you sever those, that doesn't sever the memory in your actual limbs, so you get this phantom pain of an itch, which is an itch is like what? Pay attention to this area. Basically, it's like, hey, there might be an allergen, there might be something on your skin that is going to cause you harm, so you itch it to scrape it off, right? That's what an itch is. So your body will itch also to just bring attention to that part that may not have had attention. If you cut the blood supply to your hand, it feels like pins and needles, but it also kind of itches to a little bit in a way, right? There's an itchy feeling to it, just exaggerated.
There's an itchy feeling to the itch.
Yeah. And so that itchy feeling is just, hey, pay attention to this part, and you'd feel that as a phantom pain because, well, at least what I'm extrapolating on is because the memory in the other parts of your arm is like, hey, I have more arm here. What's going on with it? I haven't heard from it for a while. What's going on? I feel an itch where my hand used to be because I have a memory of having a hand. People who weren't born, who were born paraplegic, don't have phantom limb pain because they've never had that limb.
Can paraplegic people or people who are born without any use and or nerves in their arms, how are they able to be fitted with prosthetic limbs and control them mentally?
Well, because that's how the body's designed, right? If there's a connection of some sort of action of flexing or releasing that is sent through a neuron that can be connected to that prosthetic, it's gonna still fire, just like connecting electrical wires. It's the same type of thing, right? Because it's just an electrical pulse that's sent down there, and the prosthetic just registers or understands that electrical stimuli differently, or in its own way, I guess I should say. but it's still the same thing.
Or you could be wrong.
Yeah, I could be wrong. It's easy.
Let's back up to something that we were talking about a minute ago, which supported NLP as an effective way to change behaviors, or an effective way to change somebody else's behavior. And I'm going to want to address. I want you to address some examples of when you practice this on people, and then what, for any purposes, you used to mess with me all the time and piss me off.
Mhm.
Oh, you bastard! You trick this whole time. Why am I following your commands? I don't even know are there. But we'll address that in a second. Going back to ketamine, anesthetic, used to treat chronic depression, post-traumatic stress. It creates an instant memory lapse. That's why it was given on the field. You give it to a soldier who was shot. He's not going to remember getting shot, so he's not going to complain, scream, and get caught, right?
Right.
Used in veterinary medicine because, ivermectin is for cattle. No, I'm just kidding. Used in veterinary medicine because it's
People? No, sheep? I don't know.
it's safe enough. That's why it's safe enough. You're not giving propofol to a horse unless you're doing some sort of major surgery, right? It's a large dose drug that has to wipe them out. So you give them something that takes that memory away. So as you cut into them, it's not that there's any pain that's deferred. The pain just it happens, and then your brain goes, "What pain?" Craziest thing, if you've ever woken up when you were in a procedure for when you had anesthesia, you're not going to remember 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They could literally be, removing your lung, and you wake up and go, "Hey, you guys taking my lung out?" And they're like, "Yep." I'm like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gone, and that memory is never there. I've proven otherwise. Not important, but that colonoscopy, I woke up and had a conversation with them and told them, "Challenge me, I'll remember." And I gave them 4 details, and then an hour later, I told them the details, and they're like, "You're insane." I'm like, "I know," but
here's the thing that almost even furthers that your memory isn't just stored in your brain. It can be stored other places, right? Because
colonoscopy.
If you're focused enough and as determined as you are to prove people wrong, like I know you are, as much as you like to drive and show your intelligence to people, because people underestimate you, and you like to show them why they shouldn't. That's just a challenge, and so you hold that memory purposely because you're like, shit, I'm gonna remember this whether you say it or not. It just means that much to you that it's written in your subconscious so you can recall it.
Yeah, I learned how to store data when I was I don't know, like 12, I think. I was like, "Oh, there's a way you can do everything." You mean there's a method for things? Wait,
Sure.
you mean you can get the Force is not about Star Wars. The Force is about understanding how you act and interact with yourself and with stimuli around you, and then you decide how it is that you want that outcome to be. And if you're stubborn enough, maybe you can levitate a rock, but I don't know. Start with understanding how your brain works, where your triggers are, and then how you can create a positive outcome for yourself.
You want to know something funny kind of about that is growing up. So when I was in high school, my parents had been divorced at that time. And then my dad started dating our French teacher. And a lot of my friends, because us guys find pleasure in giving each other shit. And especially when there's a area of weakness, we like to attack with our friends because playfully attack because it establishes dominance in a way, and probably is some caveman fucking
You're the
reaction.
reason why the patriarchy has destroyed the Western culture. So thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Or all cultures really when that's allowed to go unchecked. But
it doesn't have anything to do with the most prosperous and advanced we've ever been in 10,000 years. But let's blame the patriarchy.
Sure. However, how much farther could we be along if we made certain different choices? Who's to say? Nobody can say if that's right or wrong, because
check the egalitarian countries that have been forcing egalitarian rule down their throats and see if there's any change in equality of outcome when they force it up front.
Ooh, maybe, but also look at their quality of life and the happiness that the common person feels being a part of that society who believes those things, and it's safe to feel those things, versus the roller coaster of emotions that different cultures have, who don't really strive for that equalitarian aspect. Ah,
Interesting.
did I sound smart there? Because I hope I
Kind of
did.
did. It was good. What is the
So sorry,
Sweden?
I digress. Let me get back.
Sweden just mandated something. What was it? If you're not vaccinated, you have to stay indoors. You can't go to grocery stores, and we're gonna put a yellow star on your door jam or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. But as long as everyone has the opportunity to all be lawyers, that's cool.
No, it's fine. We'll just put them into camps.
Yeah.
We've done it before
Listen,
with
we
the
want you guys
Japanese.
to be together with people who are like you, and then look, campgrounds, guys. We should probably get cleaned up before we have brunch.
Yeah,
All right, then. Problem solved. Hey, I was outside the camp. Lucky me. Yeah, you pulled the trigger. Okay, cool. Can I have lunch?
Americans did it to the Japanese. The Japanese
Yeah,
Americans. Yeah,
100%. We have been devising ways to slaughter each other for eons. It's literally only in the last 60 years that we've slowed down a little bit.
a little bit, and
Every
not really a
we
whole
give, we
lot.
give we give so much credit to being advanced. Like when it's funny, I'm like woke. What is woke? You why don't you go to high school over here? This is just in the same town. It sounds like your wokeness needs to feel what it's like to be threatened, to be raped, no matter what you identify yourself as. Like, you want to go to this prison high school? It's different. It's down the street. It's 10 miles away. It's a different world. The rest of the world is, you say, like, are these things an issue in your country? And they're like, what? What are you saying? What is that gibberish? We thought this was a joke. No, we're just trying to make sure our kids don't die.
Right.
Then we're going to make sure our family doesn't starve to death, or
Yeah.
our government doesn't kill our kinfolk.
We're,
Like, what?
we're just worried about where my next meal is going to come from, and in the sense of not where am I going to get a little bit of money to pay for that, but like literally where is that food actually going to be produced from?
North Korea, they're like, no, we're literally starving. I ate ants,
Yeah.
2 ants a day for
No
6
access.
months. You're like, what?
Shit, look at more jungled, isolated islands and things like that. Cultures with no technology advancements that are still out there.
Yeah.
Like shit, if the harvest doesn't come, most of
We
us
die.
are gonna die.
Right, we die. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Tribes die.
Not oh my god, they're gonna raise minimum wage at McDonald's, so that means my cheeseburger is gonna go from $1.25 to $2. I don't want to pay $2 for a cheeseburger. Okay, don't.
Right.
If that's what happens, that's what's gonna regulate prices, is consumers saying, hey, I don't want to pay that, so I'm gonna go somewhere else.
It's a choice, guys.
Crazy. It's weird.
Consumerism has been the new religion in the West since 1948. It was devised as such, and we all fall for it, and we act like we don't have a choice. That's the part here's what I like about NLP, and this is what it feels comfortable to me, even as a dark psychology or whatever you might call it.
But they only call it, by the way, a dark psychology because psychologists don't like the idea that their methods aren't as effective, and they've had enough science enough convincing of the populace that, hey, a shrinks can get to the heart of the matter and help you, change your mind, change your attitude, change whatever, or help you understand the world better, whatever it is their credo is. But if somebody has a different device or understanding of how to do that, that's going to threaten my profession. So
Great.
That's wrong because I don't do it, which is a lot of the reason why some things like cannabis, for example, are slowly catching on for the benefit, or psychedelics are slowly catching on to actually the correct, acceptable, good, positive, however you want to describe that, which doesn't exist.
What's the appropriate, like, what's the risk versus reward? What's the reward? What's the benefit? Nobody wants to go back and remember that Harry Anslinger was, what was it, William Randolph Hearst, the paper and newspaper magnate. Um, when he found out that they found a new machine that could take cannabis. And this is not THC, guys. It's just a damn plant. And because it's fibrous and how fibrous it is, it's very easy to manufacture it into paper. And then it was kind of like the cotton gin and Eli Whitney, and it revolutionized how fast you can get the cotton fibers off of the plant. This was able to like de-string the cannabis. So by being able to do that, it got to the pulp rather quickly. It was a simple process, and they're like, this grows like a weed because it is a weed. It grows that fast. It grows like feet per day, depending on the right environments. They were like, it costs nothing. It takes up no resources really to do it, and then we can replace. Now we don't have to tear down all these forests. Perfect. Well, William Hearst being the what's the right word? Not monopolist, but he was whatever. He was a
Industrialist,
he was a businessman, just like any company.
entrepreneur.
If you own Walmart, but you also own Walmart Trucking, then you're probably you own the trucking company. Then now you're in on all of it. You're making money everywhere. You want to be the producer. You want to be, the
You want to make the product. You want to deliver the product. You want
sell,
to be all aspects of that product from start to finish to make the most money. Right.
If there's any other entity that's involved in getting your product to market, they're only in it because they are making money off of it. So then why wouldn't you just do all parts, get all the money? So when Hearst found out that all the forests that he owned were no longer going to have value, and they were going to replace redwood and every other kind of tree with a weed that grew really fast, they were like, we got to stop this. And it was Hearst that they started. Well, what do you do when you have control of all the news media? You get whatever message you want out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
you frame the conversation to be only talked about in the way that leads toward it is actually NLP too. Yep. In a sense, you frame the conversation in a way that only leads to the ends that benefits you.
Right. What is the intended outcome? So it's not the terrain. It's just the map. Let's draw the map that's going to get you to that obvious outcome every time.
If we can sell the map to people and make them believe that this is the map, then they will follow suit. That makes me more money.
Right. So they
happily
they came up with marijuana, right? Which is what they say was the scourge. It was Mexican inspired. Let's make it sound like it's risky. If there's Mexican bandits, because this is early 1900s, and there were still skirmishes going on, then call it what you want to make people have this connotation like, oh, that's bad. Bandits are bad. Marijuana sounds like it's bad.
Well, that's what they do for anything to be bad, right? Is they look at what is the lowest hanging fruit for the closest perceived danger, and how can we elevate that danger with some sort of pseudo fact behind it, right? Because it's got to be grounded in some sort of reality so that I can sell it and improve it. Like, hey, see, like not to get political, but like the caravans, right? The mass caravan that did it ever hit the United States? I don't know, but I know there was a caravan coming from Mexico of rapists and drug dealers who were going to take over the United States and steal all our jobs. That's all I remember, right? Took our jobs. Yeah, I like South Park, by the way, a lot. They have a funny way of pointing out the inconsistencies and the hypocrisies of our thought patterns based off of what we're fed daily as the societal norm.
Right. As the truth. This is the truth.
Not the truth, the societal norm. Because the truth is such a flexible, it is such an unknown, like the absolute truth of something.
It's not the truth. It's just what we as humans want to think that we are part of that search for that thing. So if it becomes the norm, like you said, then it becomes the truth also. That means if you're attacking the norm, which is my truth, then you're attacking me. And then now I will defend that norm, which is not truth at all, but it makes me feel like it is. And I'm going to, if you don't want to protect yourself from dying, then I'm going to kill you.
Well, and think about that.
That's a logical outcome to trying to
that desire to be a part of the norm is that instinctual lizard part of our brain saying that, look, humans understand naturally, instinctually, that there's safety in numbers. That
Right.
if I find a group who thinks like me, or if I change my thoughts to fit in with this group of people that I want to be, who are safe, my chances of survival are so much higher that it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna think this way because that's where I'm gonna survive, right? That's where the cultural norms or the societal norms come into play in such a powerful way with people, and is so hard to break away from that confirmation bias, because that puts us as part of a group. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, whatever, they feel comfort within that group because these people believe what I believe, or believe close to what I believe, mostly believe what I believe, whatever it is, in some way, shape, or form. And as soon as I identify myself as that person, I am now locked in, because I need to be loyal to the group. And humans have a high sense of loyalty, really, really, when it comes to what's best for me, is to be loyal to this group, even subversively, even like as spies. I'm loyal to the US, but I'm going to be a Russian spy, or whatever. I can do that, and I can feel ethical lying to people, because
Right.
really I'm doing it for my group. And if I stick with my group, I will survive at a higher rate than this other group, for whatever stupid reason I made myself believe that this is the right group. And that loyalty runs so deep, it's so ingrained, that it's hard to open yourself up to more of the world, like the all-encompassing truth of how things are. Because if I do that, then my foundation is shattered. I can't be loyal to this group, and I know that the majority of this group is going to ostracize me. I'm going to be outside this group, because now I just learned new information that would set me apart, and they won't like that, because they don't think that way. I know they don't think that way, or at least I assume they don't. That's my map. So I gotta reject that thought that I had, that might actually help me grow and achieve what I want to achieve, or be the person I want to be, simply because safety in numbers.
Right. There's fear when you step outside your tribe. You are vulnerable. You're extremely.
100%.
You're at. Not only are you now, if you step outside your tribe, you're against your tribe. Now, there's a
You're
group of people who are
exposed.
going to feel like you are telling them that they are not right. Rejection is a horrible feeling. Rejection and shame will drive humans more than anything, but resentment and anger will drive you the other direction too. So those patterns are all chemical reactions.
Mhm.
You're wired to go after dopamine, which is the pleasure chemicals, which is what drug addiction for most people is, or any addictive behavior is driven by dopamine. Those receptors are happy when they're full. And
Mhm.
happy is good, because happy is the opposite of how you feel if you have trait neuroticism, which is withdrawal and anxiety, and you want that to go away. So if you're in a situation where you can get a hug, your tribe is also your hug. You're accepted, and you're like, oh, I'm accepted, and I feel good. This is good. And they're like, come here. No, no, you're part of us. And that hug, that stimulating the vagus nerve right here, gives you that sense of, oh, that's oxytocin. That oxytocin is a bonding chemical. So you release that bonding chemical, and now you're like, I am loyal as fuck. This is why you do belly time when you have your babies.
Mhm.
They're fussy. Like, it's my turn. Skin to skin, chest to chest. Put that baby down. Whew. The oxytocin floods, and they're bonded to you. You're bonded to them. It's an important part of life.
That's why the people closest to you can do the things that you find most annoying, but you feel it's okay, because that desire for happiness, those chemicals that are released for whatever reason that they're released or were created in the first place, but that desire for that dopamine, that good feeling, is instinctually connected with survival, right? Because if it's not a good feeling, you don't get that dopamine release to be happy.
Yeah.
If or the serotonin release too, right? If
Yeah.
you don't get that release from that stimuli, then there's probably something wrong with that stimuli that you should be wary of, and you got to reject it, because that's our biology telling us what is good or bad as we perceive it to be.
Right. Oxytocin is the is it oxytocin?
That's the love chemical. That's the one that's released when women have a baby, and that's the hormone that's mostly released to build a connection between two people.
Yeah, that's the one that bonds you to your tribe. It bonds you to your child, whatever.
Bonding
Right.
chemical. Yeah.
Bonding
Yeah.
oxytocin. That's here, vagus nerve. So coping mechanism. If you're the sort of person who has to ever speak in front of other people, which is still listed as the like one of the top 2 phobias, I guess, next to spiders.
Because you're exposed, right?
Public speaking.
You're exposed for your thoughts and feelings, and if your audience rejects you, you're out of the tribe. Even if that's not a tribe you want to be in. For the
Correct.
people you're addressing, the mere thought of being outside of the tribe,
Yeah.
and safety in numbers, is so ingrained into our instinctual understanding of what's going to further our evolution and keep us safe,
Yeah,
right?
it's longing
Getting
and
to
belonging.
reproduce. If I'm outside the tribe, I have nobody to reproduce with.
Great. So what is it about certain people who would, let's say, be interested in hacking the human psyche, hacking the human brain, trying to figure out why do I act and react the way I do? Why is it that those sort of people are also the sort who would be willing to stand up in front of the tribe and risk being ostracized completely and go, no, this is fun. I like this. I'm going to get up and I'm going to risk it all right now. What is that psychopath searching for?
Adrenaline. So adrenaline is about a big part of that flight, fight, or freeze response, and adrenaline is also a good feeling chemical, right? Because it's got to be. Adrenaline has to feel good, because if it felt shitty, then you wouldn't run, you wouldn't fight hard, you wouldn't do what you needed to do to survive, right? So adrenaline has to feel good in some capacity, good, whatever good fucking means. But
Yeah,
it's got to feel good to the body in some capacity to motivate that response to whatever that stimuli is, as appropriate or inappropriately as as you actually react and take that in. But I really think it's the adrenaline that floods into you, and you get adrenaline junkies, people who like to feel that rush, right? Like uppers. I think are probably more popular really with people than downers, right?
Well, amphetamine type uppers, they create it's a dopamine. I can't
Dopamine.
the word, but it basically it mirrors dopamine.
It does. It's actually a dopamine release along with an adrenal release, which I think feels very similar, right?
The adrenal releases, that's your endorphins, right?
Yeah, you have to have a good feeling from adrenaline to feel the motivation to run away, even to just run away, or the motivation to not move a muscle, because that's really awkward too. To absolutely just be still feels weird. Like just pause in all your movements and make nothing move how you are. You can't sustain it. So adrenaline is, I think, a chemical that is like a motivation type of chemical to do some sort of action.
Adrenaline is, I think, the chemical is norepinephrine. I think is what is related to adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the addictive bonding, or the addictive ones that make us feel like we belong and we're part of the tribe and we're safe, and the things that wire us to do things that are procreation positive.
It's survival.
It's that survival positive is safety in numbers, and then when you're in numbers, you're going to find your person. When you find your person, you're going to bond and connect. And when you bond and connect, you're going to put the P in the V, and then you're going to have more of those things.
Right. If I can belong to a big enough group, then my chances of reproducing are so much higher than if I ostracize myself and I'm one of those weirdos that are on the fringe on the outside. That number is so much fewer that I have no chance of. I have lower
Less.
chance of reproducing, and if a danger comes my way, like a lion, a tiger, whatever, fuck it, a bear.
Oh
If that
my.
danger comes my way, I have less people around me for that predator to go after
Less
instead of
blockers. Yeah.
right. If there's 100 people around me, I like those odds. If there's
Somebody else
two,
is going to be the wounded gazelle, not just you.
exactly. If there's just two, shit, I could be the one. So much easier. 50-50. That's not good odds.
Oh,
How can I survive and reproduce if I'm only with two people versus 100? So of course I'm going to change my thoughts, my perception, my understanding to match with the 100 so that I can be a part of that herd and have a better chance to reproduce and a better chance to survive any attacks.
Hold on. I think we're onto something here. Wow, fuck. Serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most important neurotransmitter you have. Helps everything. Everything communicates. That's why when you become clinically depressed, or you live in a place where you don't get a lot of vitamin D or sunlight or activity outdoors, people don't even know
5-HTP,
5-HTP. Yeah,
the chemical that's a precursor to it, right? So you're not eating enough or the right things.
5-hydrotryptophan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not just turkey, guys. You want that, especially if you're taking methamphetamine. So, so all these drugs that are out there, people, I feel like there's more search these days for belonging because there's a lack of tribalism.
Mm-hmm.
That when you realize you're hurtling towards your death, you can't stop it. And you realize how small you are in the grand scale of everything, in the grand scale of the history of the universe. You're
Jesus,
nothing.
that's a big thing too. That's a whole other topic.
And you're barely anything in your tribe because your tribe is non-existent because for whatever reason, it's not just our families, the nuclear family, but it's the community. It's not just the community, but it's the community under the church. And then if you didn't have the church, then at least you had your county. If you didn't have your county, you had your state. Like everything you belong to something.
Your political party, your football team, your basketball team,
exactly. It's all
anything.
it's all a search for man's need for its longing and belonging. I need to be a part of something.
It's a longing to connect, I think, really, because if you connect, then you're safe. The more people you connect to, the safer you are.
There's a reason why statistically divorced men at my age die sooner than married men at my age. So the base statistics, what are they? You can repeat them, I'm sure, ad hoc. Married couple age 65 has a what % chance of living to be 90?
Oh shit! They have a 75, or is it 70 or 60%? One of those two. It's higher than 50%. It's like 75, 80% chance to live to their 90 if they're a couple alive and married. And you'll notice when a life partner, somebody you've been with 30 plus years dies, and you're in your 70s, 80s, I'll say, especially with modern medicine. So I'll say 70s, 80s. The chances of that other partner dying is so much higher because they've lost that connection of belonging. And even though they might have a big family that they're the patriarch of or the monarch of, even though they have that behind them, they don't have that partner that they've relied on for so long, and that's such a deep connection for such longevity of married couples that the person is more likely going to give up on life and die sooner than if their partner didn't.
Yeah, so over the age of 85, at 85 and plus, if you become widowed, you have a 400% more likelihood of not waking up the next day than actually waking up. Period. That's just
Okay.
400%. It's wild. So, like, what changes? It's again, it comes back to you longing and belonging. And I've done I've done a lot of research and trying to understand why my divorce destroyed me, why it emotionally destroyed me. I was a shell of myself for a long time. I couldn't
I remember.
process, think. I would try to want to do things with Jake that were things that before, even when things were poor, but at least it was intact. And I had my family, I had my kids, I was able to protect and provide. When that was taken away and the whim of somebody, which is anybody, anyone can make that call. That's amazing. Not you anymore. Get out.
Mhm.
What? Yeah, just not you. And you're going to pay this amount of money for 57 hours a week and go fuck yourself. But this one, in.
That's
Taking your stuff, and legally you can't do anything about it.
right.
Paying until you're dead. Okay, cool. Um, it was so just like heartbreaking and just everything breaking. It destroyed me, and I didn't understand because I kept looking around and going like, "Am I taking this poorly?" Um, like I understand biology, psychology. All the things that we're talking about are things that I was able to pride myself on having a general grasp of. Well, this is how we're wired, and this is how we do things, and here's how we react. But I couldn't get ahead of being lost. And I think of all the divorced men that I knew, and divorced with kids too. And I think, why are they not crying every time I talk to them? Like I literally just breaking down all day, every day. Maybe not outwardly,
Mhm.
I was able to do my work and get it done, and I had to train people around me to quit asking me if I was okay because I was like, I'm not, and I don't know how long it's going to be. So we're just going to do the thing. Let's do that. I'll let you know when I'm better. Um, I was so incredibly lost with all this data in my head and all this kind of wealth of knowledge out here, and I was trying earnestly to do things and connect with people, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't connect with Jake. I couldn't connect with all of my friends. I was like, I don't feel it. I can't. I'd rather be alone in the dark or dating. While I'm trying to kind of work through all this stuff, and it was actually a couple of big things that changed, and it goes back to
Well, that's a
oh,
good question, Tim. By the way, how long did it last? Is what he asked.
how long did the feeling of Timmy? What's up, son? Um, that's Timmy. The feeling of loss and rudderless in life and losing. Yeah, probably 3 years. Probably solid three. I guess 3 years, and we split in 2017. Officially divorced a year after that, 2018, and then here we go. Um, I kept trying to find answers. Dr. Jordan Peterson, if you know him, he's a clinical psychologist out of Toronto. He's actually took a 2.5 year hiatus due to illness, I guess. Really bad reaction to anti-anxiety meds that almost killed him.
Mm.
He's going back on tour next year, early January. I'm excited. The guy's got great ideas about the psychology of humans and how we work. It was actually probably a 90-second, maybe 120-second clip from the end of one of his lectures on the maps of meaning that he recorded for YouTube. Somebody, as he was ending his class, was kind of pitching like the pros and cons of divorce. Like she wanted to know, like, what do you think? Pros and cons of divorce. I think there's pros, and all I hear is cons. And somebody clipped it and put it on YouTube, and I'm grateful because in 2 minutes he explained why it's devastating. And he's like, I'm having a hard time seeing that there's anything positive about divorce. He said, "Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't have kids, you come to an agreement, and you can split, then that's fine." He goes, "But if you think that you can be divorced with kids, and it not destroy your life, you're crazy." And I hear this, I'm like, oh, I've been looking for someone to tell me, like, there's a reason you feel like you're dying because you fucking are. I just needed someone to. I needed that confirmation bias. I really did. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm drowning. Someone just tell me I am drowning. Stop telling me I'm going to be okay.
What you
I don't wanna
needed
hear more.
is somebody is a sign that somebody feels similar to you, so that you're not alone.
Yes, I was 100% alone up to that point because everyone would be like, just fuck her. Who cares? Hey, who cares? I'm like, this is literally what this was my goal in life. And then I didn't care how rough it was. I didn't complain. I didn't
But
care.
you lost your purpose,
I
and
lost
not
my
only
purpose.
and it wasn't your choice for that purpose, that you had set yourself up with your understanding of the world, of how things are supposed to progress and how you're supposed to be within a relationship. You that understanding was shattered because it wasn't you who pulled the cord. You
Right.
weren't the one who said enough is enough and I can't live this way. I need to find something that is more in line with how I want to live.
Correct.
And that's the thing, is people grow all the time. However, there's times where people grow apart, and honestly, that's okay.
Right.
It's okay, and actually
Right.
better, in a sense that why would I be tethered to somebody who doesn't believe in the things that I believe, right? Start with why.
Right.
They don't believe in the same things that I believe because they have grown in a different direction, and I can't say, because I don't know all, that their direction is wrong. I just
Right.
know that my direction is different for whatever reason that my cerebral cortex gives me, has gone this way, and my limbic brain has decided, like, hey, this is where I want to go, and they want to go somewhere different. But because they cut and severed the relationship first, and realized that it was diverging, that leaves you exposed and almost alone in that survival instinct, and you're like, shit, my purpose was to make this marriage work, to
Right.
provide for my family, to
Right.
create a space for my kids so that they could have the best advantages going out into the world possible. And I know that a familiar unit,
Familial. What is that? What is the root of that? Family. Oh, interesting.
right,
Comforting.
unit,
Tribe.
which is our very, very core basic of security, is my family, because I should trust
Right.
my family to have my best interest, because I have their best interest because of the oxytocin that is released with my family. I love them. They're my blood.
Right.
There's something there that maybe I can't even explain, or haven't started to try to explain, but that is
It's
now
your safe
ripped away
place.
from me. I
It's your
don't.
home base. Your home base is your tribe. They say home is where the heart is. The heart
Mhm.
is not your beating heart in your chest. It's that sense of connection. It's the
That
oxytocin.
sense of
It's the
belonging.
dopamine. Right.
Hmm. And that's ripped
So
away from me, and it wasn't my choice.
right.
Now, you may have come
You're
to
like,
that
how can this
choice.
happen? You're just looking around like, did someone? Do you guys know that someone? What happened?
What
Like it's
what's
mind
going on?
boggling. You're just like this. This is one of those ones where you're like, this is not fair. And I was taught not to say that.
It's the
This is
same.
not fair.
It's the
If I
same
saw
feeling.
if I saw a female and I decided I wanted to have sex with her, whether she wanted me to or not, I could technically go do it, regardless of how she feels about it. But chances are, society is going to put me in prison,
Hmm.
and I'm going to have a label, right? However, the tribe has said if she decides she wants to do that, then you have to pay for it. If that's where the inequity comes in your financial situation, and you can't say dick about it, and she gets everything, unless you want to fight really, really hard and try and keep that couch. It just makes more sense. Yeah, you knew what you were getting into, and yeah, she opted, not you. And I'm not saying this is what happened between us. I'm just saying it's a narrative of where your brain is like, your brain is just trying to figure this out. Like, so you don't feel it anymore. But if I felt things and I just reacted on it, the tribe is not going to support my decision. I can make bad choices, and the tribe says no.
Hmm.
But then all of a sudden, you're outside of all the tribes, and you're just standing there in the wilderness, going, how much
But
ketamine
but
can I take?
but think about too, when you say I make bad choices and decide to pursue what I want to pursue, regardless of the feelings of the other person, we label that as bad because
Well, I wouldn't say it's not bad. You make a risk assessment, assuming, and then you decide how you want to proceed with it.
Right. But at the end of the day, it's still at the end of the day. Who am I? You probably know.
Yeah, I was gonna invite him on.
At the end of the day,
I've got a text ready for him. I was like, hey, you want to pop in and say hi? And I'm like, nah, he'll take over.
Yeah, that's
I mean, what are you guys doing? You're just stupid.
right. At the end of the day,
Hey,
that's
have
all.
you ever done a stream? Yeah, actually, I started streaming 20 years ago before it was even a thing. I'll be honest with you. I had a company called.
I know all about it. Like
everything.
I appreciate him so much.
I love him. I love him dearly. I didn't realize how much until he went away. We stopped working together, and I was like, I would call. I miss you. He's like, yeah, let's go do stuff. I'm like, yeah. Why weren't you cool when we worked together? I disliked you. You just made me angry all the time.
He was cool. He just had.
I don't mean John, but him too.
He had a difference of perception of how things should go in order to get to the ends, and enough confidence and I don't know, whatever that
balls to thing is, own it all the way to the.
I'm right, you're not. Yeah. To bend people to his will, but when it comes down to that break,
it was genius. Be like, dude, do you realize, sir, that you're really good at NLP? He's like, yeah, I wrote the book on NLP. So, anyways, look, if you had a chance to date a 17-year-old, or a 20-year-old, like which one would you pick? I'm like, I'm not sure we have this conversation. No, seriously, 17 or 20?
What country are we in?
17 all day long, right? Obviously.
No, 100% 20. Because here's the thing, maturity matters in the delivery of the outcome that you're searching for. Maturity and experience can deliver that better than inexperience that might have a more or less blemishes on the physical appearance. Let me put it that way.
I said that Jake should have been an attorney. Whoo, he could bullshit his way in and out of a scenario. Like, listen, he's just arguing for the logic of.
Yeah, but I didn't buy any of that. Not a goddamn word. Not a goddamn word did I buy.
That's okay. If it was over your head, I totally understand. I will help you connect the dots. You'll bend to my will.
Jeff too. Let's talk about areas in our brain and the synapses firing. That's right. You guys are fucking geniuses. I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad I could fill the redneck void of your little talk show here. I appreciate you guys letting me come in.
John, you're not a redneck.
Words. Please use small words, okay? Just so I can stay with you.
I'll dumb it down. I'll make NASCAR.
I appreciate it.
Totally understand.
I appreciate it.
John is going to want to punch Jake within the first 5 minutes, just like me.
Well,
there's more than one of you out there. It's a fucking nightmare.
He's full of shit. Blah, 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 blah. He's full of shit. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to hear the truth. They don't want to hear this blown up, well, maturity is so much better. Oh, shut up. She's 17. She's clueless. She'll do whatever you want. That's what every guy wants, please.
Not at all.
Wasn't that this person that we're speaking
your little
wasn't that his argument at the end of the day?
I remember
his argument was 17, duh. Wasn't that
whatever? Yeah.
He said 20 and maturity is what he said.
Yeah.
No. I think Jake was advocating for a more logical outcome on behalf of this person.
Because let's be honest, when you deal with somebody who has a less
that's what she said.
you know the problems that are going to come along with that person versus somebody who's more mature, who could handle your certain speed of what you're looking for. If they're on the same page, you're going to have a better outcome. And
I found that age-appropriate women who are like within a decade of me, or 5 years more likely, are less likely to panic when you think the next logical sexual thing to do makes complete sense to you, and you realize they're not on the same page and have never seen that book. You know, that matters.
That's
25 might seem fun when you're 47, but until you see that look of fear on their face, And you realize that the whole daddy thing comes from them actually just needing to be held because they're nervous.
Mhm.
It's not sexual. They're just scared because
Right.
you're dirty and you're an old man. And you're thinking, oh, you don't do this with your ex? No? Oh, okay. Don't call the police. I'm sorry.
That's why I asked what country we were in. I did ask that question.
But he's not wrong. He's not
17.
wrong. He's not wrong because, again, societal norms play a huge part in that, right?
Yeah.
And understanding is different. The map is not the train.
Well, but when I got on, were you guys talking about Peterson, Jordan Peterson?
Yeah. I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard you guys talking about divorce, but I did hear something about simple steps or steps in life, and I figured you were talking about Peterson.
Yeah, 12 rules of life. Yeah. So
Okay.
we've been talking about the topic was neurolinguistic programming. How can you rewire your brain, or if you're a salesperson and you're a sales trainer, how can you rewire somebody to use their natural like limbic brain response, which is an emotion, to have a different outcome?
Well, you have to change the point of view. The only way is
You're
to
right.
change the point of view. You have to. I hate to say walk a mile in someone's shoes, but you absolutely have to turn them around in the conversation and have them almost defend a different point of view for them to understand.
That's one way. That's absolutely one way. That really works within neurolinguistic programming, because if you can set somebody off on the defensive, right, of explaining their position in a way that steps them towards what you're trying to get them to, you're doing the same thing, which is changing the framework of those behavioral patterns to something more productive for that person, right?
Is it just me, or does he have dreamy blue eyes? He really does have dreamy blue eyes, right?
I actually have an app that changes those colors, so it's totally fake. I'm not even blonde.
Well, it's not even. I care if tits are real. Silly question.
They exist.
So Jake was the mosquito in your chat last night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I saw him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's why he volunteered to come on. Actually, he's like, "Hey, come on, see what's going on with this guy."
Well, I thought I was only going to be in the chat room. I didn't know you were going to pull me in as a guest. I thought I was just going to be chatting. I wanted to be Timmy.
Timmy stuff.
See my shirt, by the way.
What is that? Oh, they got a devil in it. God's busy. Can I help you?
Nice.
I like it. And you got the transplanted devil up on the screen right above your head.
I know.
And merchandise. I got to get the one with the. I've done more promotion for a show concept that we haven't executed yet for you, my friend. I have a feeling, did I get manipulated into this? Like, why did I put more into?
I'm not that smart. Didn't you catch the first 5 minutes of this show?
That's why.
Yeah, it's because of your sense of belonging. If you do more for others, you're banking on the law of reciprocity and hoping that it'll return to you, right?
No, that's not
it'll ingrain him more into the society.
His daughter's hot. Wait, my head.
Hey, that's your friend, by the way.
There we go.
Oh no, not. He's really not my friend because he hasn't met me for a drink. So
quit inviting me to a bocce and shit. I got a blown out lumbar spine, man.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus. You know what? Hold on.
Well, shut the fuck up. I legitimately do. I'm not sitting here going, I'm not whining and complaining.
Who the hell cares?
I just told John, I'm like, John, don't let me commit to doing things that are going to require like bending over right now because I ruptured my L4, L5. And I have
you just cut out like 7 or 8 positions I wanted to try. That's great.
Dude, being spit roasted by BBC is not really that complex. I mean, you got to open wide.
Who the hell?
Sorry.
Who the hell cares?
All of a sudden, by the way, YouTube started to play when I shut my phone off. When has YouTube ever continued to play when you don't have that app up unless you have the
unless you pay for it, yeah. Unless you have the Premiere.
Literally just fucking happened.
Unless you accidentally hit a 30-day trial.
Yeah, it happens. Fuck them.
Yeah. It does.
Maybe you overrode something with your NLP.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I don't think that that's how.
I think
so
that's
go
how it
back
works.
to what you guys were talking about.
It's a map, not the terrain.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back to what you guys were talking about with the tribe thing and the divorce thing, because were you done talking about it? Because I popped in, so
I think I was wrapping up, and then
Okay.
just like back in the day, Jake then took it down and made sure I understood that he understood that I understood that he understood, and then I think I was just going to confirm it, and then
Okay.
Then we're connected, and it's all part of the society and tribe. Yeah, absolutely.
Jake, you and I trained together years ago. It was like I came to the company, I got trained. A few months later, they said, "Well, we need someone to train." We train. Then this guy here is a good sales coach, really good sales coach.
Thank you.
Can you train this guy to train since you trained before? I said, sure. So you want me to train myself, train the trainees, and train the trainer to train? I was like, yeah. I'm like, easy. I've been here for 3 months. This seems like a great idea. You guys are crazy. Seems dangerous.
This seems great. Here's the reason why is because I got myself into an elevated position that was a little bit above the scope of practice that I've had before.
You're way above your skill set. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was easy to recognize that you had a similar thought process and philosophy, guiding principles, we'll say, that I could tap into in order to make myself sound smarter, so that I'd be more accepted by the tribe. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I had mastered the tribalism already. I just hadn't mastered the content. You mastered the content, but you need to be accepted into the tribe. All I had to do was piss on you in front of the tribe, and they were like, yeah, you're in.
Yeah, you never did that. I was always above you in everybody's eyes.
Standing above me is different when I wake up.
You were just a team or whatever, a group lead. I was a trainer that worked with everybody. My authority was greater until I gave you more authority because I'm kind.
No, I'm glad. Here's the thing about dominant submissive relationships. This is why the submissive is actually feels like they're in control. It's because they're giving the power to the dominant. It's not real though, bitch. It's fake.
No, I like to play that more submissive side.
Real quick. I look good in the hat. I just want to say that.
When I'm really getting what I want.
Jake, stop.
Okay, sorry.
But, the way it shades my face, I think I look a little more ominous with a hat on.
Do you?
Well, I mean, more ominous than you, but duh.
I mean, you got more of the straight build cap. I would say more NorCal style going on, which doesn't really jive with the beard.
This is a fucking trucker hat.
It makes you look like you're trying. You're like what, 50? 50-year-olds who wear a trucker hat and fucking jewelry. You're only one. What is it? Eddie Hardy shirt away from being especially with all your jewelry too. By the way, peacocking all the way. Which actually is the whole reason I got into NLP is by reading the book The Game. Because I wanted to be more successful with women.
Neil Strauss. Yeah, when you realize you're like, well, my game's limited, so I got to figure out how to manipulate them.
No, I had to figure out how to engage into a new skill set. Little did I know that it actually taught me sales and how to have a better communication with people in general, which is a weird byproduct of that book's intention.
Well,
by the way,
yeah, was it Neil Strauss did The Game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I read
followed around Mystery, who was on VH1, the pickup artist, right?
Yes.
He followed around Mystery, whose biggest
come closer to the mic.
Stick was NLP on women in a bar to get them to build that attraction and comfort as quickly as possible.
Jake, get closer to your mic. You're sounding a little more.
Sorry.
Thanks. Oh, look at the blue eyes, and your head fits the frame. Good. Anybody else laying down on their tummy so they don't look bigger than Jake?
Doesn't take much.
Talk about this a little bit. So, John.
Yes.
Just to give you a heads up.
And Tim, by the way, yes, I am drinking, and hopefully we're all drinking together.
No, I'm drinking water tonight. I learned my lesson last night. So.
Oh, what happened?
Gentleman Jack, because I'm a gentleman.
What happened?
I was a little too tired and didn't really bring my A game last night, and I felt horrible. So I was falling
Usually
asleep
like
about
5 milligrams of THC with
it was
a 12 pack
It
of
was 10 milligrams of
fizzy
THC,
peach vagina drink, and
a
you're
bunch
good.
of beers.
Weak status. 10 milligrams is weak status. Sorry.
No, that's perfect status.
Yeah. Fair enough. I over imbibe.
20,000 is a lot, just FYI. Just don't do that.
20,000 is such an effect that once you get over probably 500, the effects are no longer negated for the rest of what, the 1,500. It doesn't matter.
No, I mean, it's negated.
I would say unless you're a hardcore THC user, anything over 50 is a waste. It's absolutely a waste.
Okay.
20,000?
I'll tell you, anything over 10,000 is just crazy. It's insane.
Yeah,
You're just literally looking at 57 hours of crying and fetal position and people threatening to call 911 and going bargaining. You would bargain with God, but God left you a long time ago and you don't know your name.
All right. So what were you going to say?
The LD50 for marijuana is something like a half ton. Like you're not going to die from it. You have to eat half ton. So I knew I was not going to die. I just didn't think I'd ever be normal again. So anyway, I have to pee. So I was going to ask Jake, who is going to over-explain things to the point where you're going to want to slap him.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'll get as deep as you want.
Jake's the only person I have met, and I love him for this, who will explain the explanation of the thought he had that led him to that thought in the first place. And then you're like, wow, that's fascinating. There was 2 sentences we needed to know. And then I think I do the same thing. How can I judge? Let's just go there.
The aesthetic way of communication versus the pragmatic way of communication, right? Pragmatic is give me the baby. I just want to know the quick facts. Aesthetic is I listen to the feeling and how you say what you're going to say in order to get to the understanding of what you mean. So 2 different communication styles, right? I'm
all wrapped up in one
aesthetic, 100%. No, I'm totally aesthetic. Yeah. Because if you don't know my thought process, then how can you agree with my conclusion if you didn't know how I got there?
So somebody taught me this when I was 25 years old. So 25, they said, Jeff, you're being socially retarded. And I said, wait, what do you mean? I had a company that worked for McDonald's. You're being socially retarded. You're a member of management. Quit talking off the cuff as if anyone gives a fuck about how you ever generated the first thought that led you to that conclusion. When they say, what are your thoughts? Give them the conclusion. Shut up. Let people process. I said, well, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but the reason, and then I spun back into that
the reason why.
I want to explain the reason. And this person said, look, I'm trying to mentor you. You want to know why they hate you. They hate you because you came in and you took a job away from like 16 people who had tenure because people think you're fascinating because you have all these words. They're looking for skills. They're only going to respect outcome and skills. I said, well, that's good because I'm number 6 out of 38 groups. So I've already proven my skills, so go fuck yourself. What next? I don't need friends. This is not show friends. This is show business. What else do you got? I would just talk less. People will hate you less in the moment. I said, cool. If I want to be hated less in the moment, I know what to do. I appreciate it. Help me out for a minute, though, because it's going to take me a while to pattern interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call me retarded in front of the group. That doesn't help. This was maybe year 2000.
Might take away from my authority a little bit if they think that I'm in charge and retarded.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. I get why you guys are upset because obviously I'm retarded.
You think
I'm still
retarded.
better than you. I'm better than you by a long fucking shot.
Not only am I retarded, but I'm getting paid more than you, and I have more authority to dictate what you do, even though I'm stupider than you, based off of what the upper management said, yeah.
Hey, you guys taking your pensions early or what? Because I'm not going anywhere. But so then my mentor, he said, okay, I'll just say SR instead of calling you socially retarded. I was like, all right.
That's fine.
38 managers going around in circles. So Jeff, what's your thought on this? Well, SR. Sean, did you say something? All right. So here's my thought process on why execution is important. SR. I'm sorry, guys. Sean thinks I'm socially retarded, so I'm just going to end with this. He's like, oh. Execution, well, I guess if I have to describe it and explain it to you, it would explain why you're only this far into your career as you are. So good luck. Read the book. I'm going to go back to my team.
That's why you got to
know
know
your
your
friends
audience.
that day. I did not make friends that day.
Know your audience.
Then I
See,
moved to Arizona.
that's basically read the room is in my brain because there are times that he'll pontificate and just and it can work, but some of the mental midgets that we had working at McDonald's, it wasn't helpful at all. Like you could just see their heads go, what? Like, what are you even talking about? So yeah, I mean, you have
or why does this even matter, right? Why is this even important? I'm just here to collect a paycheck and fucking make some burgers.
Well, the deal is to be the best trainer, to be a great trainer, is that you have to dig down and figure out on the individual, how do you make them care? How do you, what perspective do you need to show that they get on board? It may not been the way that Jeff got the concept and got on board, but as a great trainer, you got to figure out how to reach that other person.
How do you reach the aggregate? You know, how are you going to that bell curve? You know, hold on.
You have to, because you got to find out. You have to find out what matters to them. So, you know, it may be great that one day when, you know, Jeff was eating peyote and all of a sudden he realized that God was his best friend. That's great that you thought of that concept, but that doesn't help me sell hamburgers at McDonald's.
That doesn't make me produce fries more quickly.
No,
so
it does
why the
not.
fuck should I care?
It does not. So
agreed.
No, I mean it's great. Like, cause I listen, you know, he gets on a tangent and he'll start to use really, really big words, and it's like, oh, good, this is gonna be fun. All right, pick your spot. Okay, Jeff. So anyway, so what were we talking about earlier? And let's get back on. Oh, the chat room. They have a couple of good questions this evening. Let's roll those out. So.
Yeah. I laugh only because I'm the exact same way, and I have I get the exact same reaction because in my mind, my thought is, if you saw what I see, if you understood what got me here, you would understand what I'm saying so clearly that it would
you're wrong.
It would correct whatever issue is.
No, but you're wrong because you're taking it from your perspective. You're
absolutely
from
right.
Your brain, and somebody who doesn't have the same education, the same life experience, absolutely does not care how you got to that, because they would never have gotten to it that way. So that's the challenge, right? And the challenge is not to dumb it down, because that's wrong, because everybody has different experiences. But you have to communicate in a way that this guy or this gal is going to understand how they're going to get to that point where they understand or believe, more importantly, believe that this is the right thing to do. And that's great that you were on top of a mountain and saw Jesus and all that, and that's why you're doing it. I don't care about that. I need to be able to get to that place that you got to, but I got to take my road, because your road's not going to work, because I've never driven on your road before.
I don't get your road. That's why we're talking with the whole NLP shit. The map isn't the terrain. So if your map doesn't even have a road like that at all, Like there's no way you can travel it. There's no way you can add that to your map at all because it's such a foreign concept of like, dude, this doesn't matter to me. And our brains are wired in a way that we have so much stimulus coming at us at all times: sight, smell, taste, touch, feel, intuition, just all so much fucking stimuli that's happening all at once. Your brain filters out all the stuff that it feels based off of its knowledge and understanding of the world that is useless, so that it can only focus on.
You need to correlate it. You need to get that person to correlate it in their mind, the exact to where you want them to be, but they have to figure out how to buy in. They have to. Like you said, they don't. You can say all you want about your experience, but unless they've I like that.
Yeah, I know. Interesting.
That's a good look.
That is a good look. But you're right. You're absolutely right. You know the funniest thing or a very interesting thing that actually clued me into that principle and helped me understand it is the movie Road Trip. Have you seen that movie, Road Trip?
Was European Road Trip the second one?
Similar.
DJ Qualls.
Road Trip had Tom Green in it and a bunch of like no-name like fucking people in it. Oh God.
Yeah, DJ Qualls.
Okay, he is in it. Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, he's a really skinny guy.
They go to the black frat house.
Yeah.
He nails the chick. Yeah, I remember it. Okay.
Right. But the most intelligent line, like one of the reasons why I like that movie so much is because of the scene when they're writing back. The dude has the final exam that he's stressing out about, and the like idiot savant, the dude who's just a genius but doesn't apply himself, says you could teach you could teach a monkey anything as long as you have a certain frame of reference, right? And that's the same thing with training people, is as long as you understand or can see things how they see. Like he started equating whatever final that they had with WWF, the Battle Royale and shit. Speaking of which, not to make you feel bad at all, but this is Gentleman Jack. So
yeah, Gentleman Jack.
Sorry, not you.
Why would that make me feel bad? You have watered down number 7.
Alcohol.
You have watered down number 7. So
yeah, sure.
It's not impressive.
It's a gentleman. Hello. Says so in the name.
He's literally taking something that he knows he knows already, like your triggers, because he's like, he doesn't care about this shit. He doesn't care about like here's his stance. He immediately is just gonna go at you with it. Just this fucking guy. I was like, are you NLPing me right now? You made me touch my face. Why the fuck was I rubbing my nose? He's like, what? You notice that?
Oh yeah, that was the test that I talked to Jeff about and challenged him to do with people and say, hey, watch this. I can manipulate people so well that I can control their behaviors. Let me show you. I'm going to talk to somebody during a coaching, and I'm going to get them to rub their nose for no fucking reason and just watch it. They're just going to follow me. And then I would do it, and they would rub their nose, and it would crack us up. We'd laugh about it. They wouldn't understand, like, why are you laughing?
Why are you laughing?
Because I made you rub your nose. Like you have an itch now in your nose that you can't deny. Sorry about you.
It's the same as a yawn reflex. And if you can't, if you do this and you can't get someone to react, John, just so you know, John, go ahead, get some dopamine. If you're messing with somebody,
I thought you did that. I thought you touched your nose so I would drink. That's my reaction.
If you can't get them to react to that, then you just have to pattern interrupt a little bit and rub your face, rub your chin, and then go back and hit the nose.
Do it enough. Corners of the mouth are a really good thing, because this signal to somebody is like, oh shit, I have something on my face, right? Doesn't matter. I could
Right.
talk to. I could do a trick. I would do a coaching, and I would go like this just to see if they would fucking rub their face if they were listening. I knew they'd rub their face.
I would laugh so hard just watching him just toy with people. I'm like, you're twisted. So tell me about like who'd you meet at the bars this weekend? So, if you let's say that you read a story about, a guy from Podunk, wherever, winds up in the dirty tea, running some NLP, maybe starts working in the physical manipulation field, and then starts working in sales coaching training, which is all mental, sometimes physical. They'll be like, "Hey, can you rub me, please?"
Can you finish?
Dude, I had a few fucking employees. I had a few employees who asked me for a massage, and I would give them a little bit of a taste of my skills.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who was it that I actually did a massage
What was
for?
her name?
I can't remember. I can't fucking.
I would just
remember.
my back would get I would get out of alignment. I get like one leg goes shorter than the other. I'm like, can you just realign my spine for me? And I'd be like, ah, and he's like, okay. The pain goes away. It's amazing what happens. Chiropractors aren't just quack ears. I mean, there's some you can't cure everything with popping your back, but there's something to be said for alignment.
It was so successful being so in tune to how the body works when I was younger, 21, out in the clubs, that I actually stopped using the fact that I was massaged to attract women when I was single, because it was just too fucking easy. And I also knew that my good friends would bring it up to them for me, which gave me social proof and even a higher esteem because I didn't bring it up. Somebody else did. And then what I would do is the same thing I did for Jeff is I would tell him, hey, just jump up and down really quick for me and then stand normal. And I can tell you where all your pain is, and I can tell you how to fix it. And that's really fucking easy because you just look for where muscles are shortening, like where one side is smaller than the other. That's it. If they're leaning a certain way, even just slightly, oh shit, I know right where to touch you. It's going to be this muscle. And that then convinces them that I understand their body better than they do, and makes me more desirable. It's
By the way, I didn't pay attention to Tim, but yes, I fucking joined my own group. He's like, did he even join his own group yet? Yes, I did. I joined the goddamn group.
Wait, what group? Did you join this group?
This group.
Or the trans devil group?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I created that group for you. I just wanted you to be a part of something.
I know.
I haven't built your website yet. Oh yeah,
I haven't given you any money yet. How are you gonna do that?
Jeff, by the way, why do you have drumsticks without a drum?
I sold the drums because I didn't play them because I inherited a old dog from my past relationship, and she would freak out. So I sold the drums, and about 6 weeks later, she died.
Fair.
Right where the snare drum would have been.
Why would you sell the drums for your dog? Explain that.
Because my children love their dog. Why not? I had the dog with me for 2 years, I think. About 2 years. She was 17 when she passed, like a couple months back. I had the drums for a few years.
Wow.
I got a 22-year-old cat. She's still here. We got him at the same time. When Haley was born, and she's now 16 and change.
Jesus.
16 and a half. So
Gross, huh?
yeah, they were going to be cast away after that much time. And I said, no, I'll take them. So I have a small house, not good for loud noises and old dog. And so, yeah, give it one for the other.
I just love your attachment to the drumsticks because it defines the fact that you wanted to be a little bit more, artistic in a way, right? Express your artistic desire through music. And you got rid of the drums, but you still like to air drum as if you know what you're doing. It's
I'm calling bullshit. He just likes to have a piece of wood in his hands. That's really
Both.
We need to simplify that.
Both at the same time. It's absolutely both at the same
Double
time.
fisting or skiing. I mean, that's what we usually call that.
You guys are so cute. Actually, let me. I'm finding something. Oh, no,
Here,
that's not it.
you got a desk right there. Play me a little drum beat. Let me see your rhythm.
Hold on.
Hit a paradiddle.
Okay.
It literally is what it sounds like.
It is. I have an electric guitar and an amp right here. Do you want me to plug that in too?
Right, so I could hear your shitty rendition of Wonderwall. Yeah.
No fucking way. I just do open G or drop D, and then I either play blues or rock.
Hey, I tried to invite you to a Drop D concert.
You did, but that day my vagina hurt, and I was not able to get anyone to make it feel better.
It's all right. My vagina apparently fell asleep last night, so
I wasn't mocking you. I mean, I was like, "Hey, Jake, check out the show, man. This guy, John and I, we're always like super tight, super engaged."
So not funny.
I sit back and he just goes, and I'm just like, "Fuck, dude, this is so fun."
I was not funny.
We are on fire, and then I'm like this. I'm like, "I'm drowning. Somebody help me!"
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it actually quite a lot, and the movie references crushed me. The Austrian one, Dumb and Dumber, that you threw in there, all of a sudden cracked me the fuck up. I love that. Made me laugh out loud and wake up my wife. Actually,
there was a what? Dumb and Dumber reference?
I don't remember
that. Austria.
Austria.
Another shrimp on the bobby. Laughed out loud at that.
I love that movie. That's got to be. I think just by exposure. I don't mean like why I have to introduce myself to my neighbors. I worked at my friend's video store when I was early 20s on Saturdays to help him out, and I would open and close the place. So it was like 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night. He had a porn section with a curtain, beaded curtains.
Nice.
Classy. I don't know why I said that. You'd walk through and you get like Vaseline on your face. I would put on Dumb and Dumber. I'm guessing this was like 90. That's about when it came out, probably 90, 96, 97. I think that movie came out in 95. I kept a copy and I would just put it in and I would play it over and over again all day from open to close. And we had to buy copies because we would sell it out continuously because I always had it on. So I have the movie memorized and then some.
Oh, 100%.
And then the soundtrack. If I hear a song from that come on the radio, I know exactly what's going to happen. Exactly. It's an obsession.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even like the movie.
What?
Shocking. So I quote the movie to my dad, and he corrects me. This is via email. I think I saved it. I remember I put something like, he was like, I always enjoy, reading the writings of my lunatic son or something like that. I said, well, I can't help it. I have a rapist wit. Rapist wit.
That's from Celebrity Jeopardy, isn't it?
I have no idea. Rapist wit.
SNL Celebrity Jeopardy. No? Oh, okay. That's fine.
What?
Rapist.
What are you reading? What are you talking
Nothing.
about?
Something different. Sorry.
Are you trying to NLP me? Dick?
No.
So my father corrects me.
Exercise.
Fuck you. My father corrects me and he says, son, I believe what you meant was that you have a rapier's wit, and a rapier is a sword used in competitions such as fencing and and I reply back, you're the dumbass. That's from Dumb and Dumber, and it's meant to be funny because it's the misunderstanding and misuse of it which makes it funny, because you have to be smart enough to understand dumb jokes. Otherwise, you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I know whether or not you should marry anyone. If you play Dumb and Dumber and they don't get the jokes, they're not smart enough. for you. Period.
So do
You're not.
you have that same opinion on Napoleon Dynamite?
Ooh, parts.
I don't hold it in
Parts
that
of it is
high
just
regard,
stupid as
but
fuck. But
it is
parts of
pretty
it
amazing.
is genius too. I would say.
Talladega Nights, Step Brothers.
Yeah,
Step Brothers. Oh,
I
dude,
would agree with Talladega
Prestige.
Nights and
Prestige
Step
worldwide.
Brothers.
Worldwide.
all day. Shake and bake, motherfucker.
Hi. We're going to be interviewing as a team. I think I can help with this whole Pam thing. It's Pam with a P.
Let me weigh in on this whole Pam thing. I think it's Pam with a silent
Pam.
N.
Pam. Stupid.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, it smells like ketchup and onions.
It smells like ketchup. I'll be honest with you. This whole tuxedo thing is pretty sick.
Now all of a sudden this whole tuxedo thing seems kind of sick.
It's kind of fucked up. So I was looking for this. My mother saved everything from me getting tickets, arrested, arson, whatever, things like that. Criminal mischief. Like, she kept all of it. And then, I'm sorry, my grades and accolades and failures through my entire school career. And then when I graduated from high school, she gave me a binder and said, here you go. It's all the stuff. So I was flipping through this the other day looking for a photo of some people from the Atomic Dork Squad from when we were in the 3rd grade.
Ooh.
She was hot in the 3rd grade, I'll tell you that. And then I came across this. I forgot I had this. So I don't know. I've successfully completed some bullshit, something or other with snare drum.
Bro, you're in the 3rd grade. If you hit the drum, you've got that fucking award.
Let me explain something, dickhead.
Okay, sorry.
This was I was a certified grade 5 drummer in Scottish. I was in a Scottish pipe band. I was a drum sergeant. I started learning when I was 11, and I mastered it by the time I was about 12, and then I became the teacher.
Mastered. Explain mastered it. What does that mean? What is mastered?
What is mastery of anything? Tell me what a mastery of anything would be. You have to measure. You have to measure your skill set against
the snare drum by age 12. Is what you just
within a year I became the instructor, and then I started teaching others.
Where?
In your mom's asshole.
You were there too?
Quite a small amount of actual
it was moist.
drummers in the world. Hey, look.
No, then your mom was like, "Oh, more paradiddle. Hi-hat. There's no hi-hat, bitch. It's a snare drum. It's one drum."
Oh, that's wrong. You called her a bitch. That's not nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If I'm the fastest runner at the Special Olympics, by the way,
you get a medal, don't you? This is my point. I got a medal.
Yeah,
I got a medal. Listen, I got a medal in something that nobody knows about. Nobody knows about. Nobody cares about, and I don't even know how many grades there are. I was a grade 5 drummer in '88. I don't know what that is. This is all I know. I figured it out, and they're like, "Hey, can you teach that guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." That's it. They told me I was good at something. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second, because this was surprising to me. And I saw this yesterday. I was like, grade 5. What was grade 1 through 4? How many grades are there? I think they made it up. This is calligraphy. Mm-hmm. Somebody hand wrote this shit. They're like, "This is our club, and we're saying you're the king of the club." I'm like, "Damn, son."
Bro, you were being a gifted student. Problem, like a child in that industry, that they felt like, hey, you know what we're gonna do is make him feel good about this achievement that he had, in hopes that it'll calm the fuck down.
Yeah,
he's not acting like your sidekick right now. He's being mean to you. Sorry.
That's my bad. I'll make you look better. You're an amazing drummer at 5th grade. Yeah, 12 years old. You fucking crushed it. Look, Def Leppard with one arm.
He used electronic drums, dumbass. It didn't matter what pad he hit; it made the noise. You understand that, right? It was pre-programmed. He could have hit it with his fucking head. Would have worked just fine. Would have kept going if he died.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That was skill. How is he doing a drum roll? That's amazing, because he's not. But that's cute. The Eurythmics didn't even have a drummer. They had a machine.
I don't give a fuck.
Anyways, you asked why I have the drumsticks. Actually, the drumsticks part, 2 of them are left because of the drum kit and the second. Actually, let me look at it. No, I'm sorry. Rock Band. My kids have Wii Rock Band. One of those sticks is from Rock Band. The other one is it's a maple set that a drummer friend of mine gave to me. So I just didn't want to give them up with the set. That was it. I like them.
Oh shit! Holy shit! What happened to my camera all of a sudden? That's weird.
I think you're sucking your own. What?
Huh?
What? John, what's he doing?
Okay.
Timmy!
What the fuck happened to my camera? I just said something. I don't know.
You got locked up. Did you do that on purpose?
No, not at all.
Are you oralizing yourself?
No, it just didn't like my commentary. Apparently, all of a sudden,
apparently.
says my
finally your camera
next-
caught up.
I think that's what happens when your wife cuts off your Wi-Fi. Honey, go to bed. Shut up. It's late.
It cuts off your wiener? What?
Yeah, what?
Your Wi-Fi.
I wanted you to tell before we wrapped up, unless, of course, my significant other is awake. Let me see.
This is weird as fuck.
Oh, 5 minutes ago, yes. Oh, shit. What is this? Yeah,
0?
so I got to wrap up in a sec. I really do, actually. I wanted Jake from State Farm to tell a story about when he used NLP to get a date, and he was shocked that it worked. And not massage. We all know that if you can manipulate the human body, you own them differently. But how did you get someone to mentally make that leap, and you didn't you weren't sure if it was going to happen? And you're like, oh, this one I'm going to have to saw my arm off in the morning to get it out from under her.
Ooh. So first off, let me ask you this.
This is where he turns it around.
Is this a specific story that I've told you in the past that I'm now not recollecting, or is this just a general question?
General, and it could be an aggregate because I can't prove or disprove who it was when it was. So just an example for the men's or the women's.
Sure. So one of my
I'm listening in the background, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Can you still hear me just fine? All right. Perfect.
Unfortunately,
one of the things that I found out early on is that if I was completely honest about my intentions in the heated moment with a person that I wanted to be intimate with, that it didn't matter and they'd still go on. So what that looks, oh shit, my whole computer froze. Okay. So what that looks like is my whole process, my sales process when I got on Tinder was I would talk to a lady, and the goal was within 30 minutes of us exchanging messages is to get her to actually text me. And I would do that by saying, hey, I hate talking through Tinder. Here's my phone number. Send me a text, right? That's the first step into comfortability at that time with that person. So I learned early on through reading the game that the more comfortable somebody feels, the more likely they are to be intimate. So what I would do is get them to text me. We'd text for maybe a couple days, and then I'd invite them over to my house to watch movies on demand or some shit. Let's have some wine. I'm so tired of going out and doing all that shit. Why don't you just come over? Let's have some wine and watch a movie and hang out. Because I want to make it a safe environment. That's the framework of the NLP in order to produce the end result that I'm looking for, right? So they would come over. We'd start watching a movie, and because we don't really know each other, contact is kind of awkward, right? Some sort of contact. So you got to find like small touches, some way to make contact touches between the two of you feel safe. Once that happens, then what I would do is just break the tension and say, hey, I'm going to lay my head on your lap. I don't care. I'm going to put your hand on top of my head because I want you to scratch my head because that feels good. And that breaks all of the tension right there. Absolutely. And from that point, we would be watching the movie. It just was a matter of time before we'd be looking at each other, tensions would rise, and we'd start making out. And the most important part of the process was saying, hey, I'm about to invite you back to my room, but I need you to understand that where I'm at is not looking for a relationship. All I'm looking for is, fun and something casual. And if that's not what you want out of this, if you want something more, that's okay. I'm just not there. I'm focused on work or something else. I'm focused on other things right now in my life. So if that's not okay, we can still be friends. I appreciate who you are. We just can't be intimate. But if you want to join me back in my room, then just understand that this isn't going anywhere. So I just set clear expectations from the beginning of how our relationship's going to be, so that when we go back, have some sort of intimacy, whether they catch feelings or not at that time, I can always bring it back when I'm sensing that they're catching feelings to, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm sensing that you might be different page. That's okay. If you're on a different page, let's stop being intimate and we can just be friends because I enjoy who you are, and encourage them that way, make it seem like a safe space. And I never really got to know at that point in time, because part of the manipulation, I guess I would call it, is I knew that women would feel like they may be able to change me, but they couldn't ever come back and say, well, you promised me this, because I didn't. Right. And so mostly what I got was, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. And it just progressed how it did. And when their feelings changed, next one. So I guess that's probably where I used NLP the most.
I thought there was going to be a particular story about what happened, and not a complete technique. I was a little disappointed by that.
Well,
I thought you were gonna, I thought you were gonna bring some light to an otherwise dark and dismal world.
But that is the light. The light is you can put out your entire intention of what you really want in a way that's framed appropriately in order to make the other party feel comfortable enough to agree to your terms and feel okay, even though I knew later on there would be an awkward conversation where they're like, hey, no, why are you talking to other girls? Well, I told you what this was. We had an understanding, and if that understanding has changed, that's okay. It just means that we need to have a change of how we behave with each other, because if you're not okay with the way that I'm acting, you're still a valuable person, but we just can't have that intimacy that I know you kind of craved with what you thought this relationship was going to be. And once they heard that, the response that I always got from people, I never really had a negative response, to be honest, was, thank you for your honesty. I understand. And they would self-select themselves out of that process so I could focus on others who engage in that process. And it would also leave the door open for, if I felt like I wanted to return, I could check in with them to see if they're not wanting something more or not. And if they didn't want something more, we could just go back into those same tropes. So I was able to have my cake and eat it too.
So you bought your own shit.
Well, you have to buy your own shit. If you don't buy your own shit, in LOP, if you don't believe in what you're saying to to a certain degree, then it's disingenuous, and it's not gonna.
But it's super. But it is super disingenuous. Everything you just said was planned precisely to be disingenuous.
It was.
How do you sleep at night? What is wrong with you?
I
Yeah.
I
Is that good?
appreciate
Is
that.
that
However,
good?
what was planned is this is what I want, and this is what I'm willing to give. And if you're not willing, if that's not good enough for you to also feel good about this situation, that's okay. I can find somebody else who will feel that way, and we can adjust our relationship to something that is more comfortable to you. It's just I also knew there was a underlying driver for the women's perception to want to still continue on. And if they ever called me out on it, I would say, look, I was completely honest about where my intentions were. And I understand that you might be upset about that now because you're feeling differently, and that's okay. Just understand that those feelings shouldn't be directed to me. They should be directed to somebody else, but we could still have a friendly relationship because I value you as a person. The trick to it is I actually have to believe that.
The trick.
Well,
So-
because it's true. It's true. You actually have to believe that I'm okay with being friends with this person,
But you
whether or not we're
don't.
interested or not.
The whole plan is to get laid. It has nothing to do with that you believe that it's okay.
No. It
Oh,
is.
yes.
It worked. My intention was to get
Oh,
laid.
I'm sure it works. I saw those blue eyes. I understand exactly how it works.
But it worked into a way where I fully explained my intention to somebody in a way that it was
hear
received well.
every single piece of bullshit that you are shoveling. I hear every single part of that. And you could say it any which way you want, but the plan, the goal is to get laid. The goal is to hope that she doesn't catch feelings. But if she does, hey, I was honest with you in the beginning of this relationship. Oh, come on. Come
But
on.
that honesty is needed because now
But
she
you're
doesn't
not being honest. You're
because
lying.
she doesn't
You're
feel played. No,
lying. You
I'm
are
not lying.
absolutely lying. The goal is, hey, I know how women are. Okay. I know that it's not just a physical thing for them. And I know that they're going to get attached. However, I'm going to set these guidelines, which to them at first sounds great. But every woman, all right, 90% of the women, but 100% of you are not funny. But 90% of them are going to catch feelings. But you have the clause in the contract that you had stated knowing that this was going to happen. It's bullshit. It
No.
is absolute bullshit.
But that's because you're working under the assumption
No.
that women only want a relationship with a man that they're intimate, and that's
Most,
not true. That's not true because no, it's not true at all. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why I'm right.
Apparently, when you're intimate, you don't leave a lasting impression, my friend, because usually that's what happens.
That's
saying.
okay. Hey, that's okay. If that's what happened, that's okay. I'm not.
Oh, I know. We've already stated the whole fact.
I'm not married. I'm not married to that person. I'm not.
No, I get it. You're just looking to get laid, so I completely get it.
But
I understand what you're saying.
The point is I'm honest. The point is I'm honest.
You're going into it lying.
I'm honest. I'm telling them exactly what my intentions are.
But you're not.
And giving them the space that if they don't want that end result, then bow out now, and you have an out.
Right.
Now the fact
you're
that
unclipping the bra. Right. Is that time you look in their eyes and go, you do understand there's no breakfast involved in this, right? Because
not at all. It's before anything progresses, before like just making out in that connection. I'm just stating my intention. I'm setting the expectation.
No, you're not. No, you're
how
not.
this is going to go.
No,
you're
not stating your
evaluate
intention.
and negotiate
you're
relationship.
Lying. You're not stating your intention. Your intention is, hey, listen, you're pretty. I want to get laid, but I want no strings attached. That's honest, not I know we've made a connection here, but I'm not at that point in my life where I feel I'm ready for a relationship. However, my cock is definitely ready for a relationship with your ass, your pussy, or your mouth. That's where I'm at now. If you can't, I know I've already kissed you, I've already made out with you, slipped you a couple of roofies. I know I've already done all these
No
things.
roofies needed.
I know I saw the blue eyes. Did I not compliment the blue eyes at least twice?
You did, and it made me feel really good, and I appreciate you more than you will ever know about that.
But anyway, you're full of shit, and I just wanted to, because I'm a feminist, right, Jeff? I'm a feminist.
Mm.
Yeah, too bad
See,
we're
if you're a true feminist, you would actually understand the spirit of that
Wow.
conversation and that
I
connection.
love what
Putting
you know.
myself
What?
out.
There's
Because
only
let's
one
be honest,
thing.
because most guys
Hold on,
have to promise the
There's
world
only one
and
thing that
underdeliver.
makes me
I don't
more
do that.
angry than somebody saying I don't understand something. It's when they say you're a grown ass man. That really is probably the top. I understand completely. However, you've already believed your own bullshit. So you've actually conned yourself into this so that morally, hey, I'm doing the right thing. I'm
Here's
letting
the
them
thing.
know I'm not ready.
Perception is reality.
No. Reality is
Perception
reality, son. Reality is reality, not perception. Reality is reality.
Perception is reality, because
No.
reality
When
is
you're
always
selling, yes. When you're selling, absolutely, but not real life. Real life,
real life
reality is
perception is reality. The map that you have is not always the terrain, but the map that you have can guide your decision making in certain situations.
You can sugarcoat this shit as much as you want. And again, I stated in the first 5 minutes that I've joined, I'm not as smart as you two, but you're full of shit.
You might believe that, but you know what?
That's reality. That's reality.
When people declared that the world was round and not flat, people thought they were full of shit until they were able to prove it. And my track record proves from the reaction that I had with the women that I was with, and how less of drama, angst, and anger that they felt about the type of relationship that we had, and their willingness to actually re-engage when they felt the same way that I did, shows that my reality of how I propose that is truer than the need to overpromise and underdeliver in order to get laid. I was just clear about my intentions, and I left it up to them. And while I know that maybe some of them thought that they may be able to change me, that was their preconceived notion, that I was able to change their perception of that preconceived notion enough to make them feel comfortable to say, hey, you know what? This was okay. And it was a relationship where we both got what we wanted and understood where it was going to go. It was just setting clear expectations, because conflict arises when expectations differ in any situation, right? So conflict arises when two people's expectations differ of what the result is. So if I set clear expectation of what this end result's going to be, which is a casual relationship until you feel like you don't want a casual relationship, because I'm not going to change that, which is true, then I'm speaking my truth, knowing that you may not totally understand your truth, but I'll help you discover it. In which case, I actually gave them a benefit. I helped them grow.
Whatever it takes for you to sleep at night, my friend.
You're just upset. You're just upset that it
I'm
works so
upset.
well.
What am I upset at?
I have a question.
That it works so well.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. May I
Yeah.
ask? So, aside from a lot of words,
Mhm.
which John is wired that if it feels like you're trying to get over on him, then he's going to pay
going to
attention.
resist and say, no, that's not right. No
Right,
matter
like
what.
okay, well,
No, not no matter what. That's not true.
No, he's
You're
not.
right. You're right. I'll bring that back. As long as you can connect the dots that are in line with your values and principles.
Oh no. I have no values nor principles.
That's wrong.
I'm just stating the fact that you're full of shit. That's
absolutely wrong. You have values and principles, which is why when you talk about political things, it inspires such an emotional reaction for you for the beliefs that you have. Whether they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's true to you, and that's why perception is reality, because your reality of how you understand the world.
I was talking about values and about sex. That's really where I was going on that. Not my political points of view or
no. I'm just using that as a
reference.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Listen, this is all that's happening between you. You guys you're in agreement. It's the outcome is the agreement, which is John is saying, look, at the end of the day, you wanted to get laid, right? Mm-hmm. Right. And then John is saying, John's approach would be, hey, we're just here to get laid. Yeah. You got that? Cool.
Pragmatic versus aesthetic, facilitator versus a motivator, right? I'm more of a facilitator. I allow, I bring people into the space to make their own decision, and I try to frame it in a way that also helps me get what I want, where a motivator is just direct on what they want. And if that person doesn't agree, they expect that person to step away. Right.
Right. So something that I know about the two of you, and this is it's interesting. I knew this dynamic would happen because I know that when I launch into points of my perspective, the way that that you naturally do, Jake, which is explaining methodology behind it, and how you're engaging someone for the same outcome that anybody else would, but you're doing it in such a way to eliminate obstacles and barriers and conflict. Mm-hmm. And you're really good at that, and it works well, especially with people who are receptive to that. So if you're aesthetic in the way that you describe things, it's going to work well with people who are receptive to that, right?
And that's the whole point. Is it's like the whole Simon Sinek start with why. I only want to deal with people who believe in what I believe in, and if they don't, that's okay. I'm not for them.
Right. So not everybody is the right flavor of ice cream for people who like ice cream. So John has an approach which works well for him, and it's also sincere, and it's to the point, and it's no
different methodology with the same result.
Correct. But what comes behind that is confidence and respect. So he comes out with confidence and respect. You do the same thing. You do it in a way that then makes you feel comfortable in how you're going to navigate through that situation. So depending on how you're wired, you're either like, I'm male and you're female, and I'm just going to go with I'm male and you're female. And if you're cool with that, I'll do my male shit and you do your female shit and it'll be fun. Yeah, good. Okay. Or you're going to come at it with an approach where you're more sensitive to it, you're more in tuned, and you want to make sure that there's less conflict, but the end result is
no, I disagree, because he's trying to make himself feel better about the situation.
But that's what I said.
But
no. I'm trying to make everybody feel comfortable with the situation.
No, but honesty is the best policy, my brother.
He wasn't being dishonest.
Everybody to feel good.
But where am I being dishonest?
Where am I being
dishonest? Because women are gonna catch feelings, and you know they're gonna catch feelings.
That's where. Hold on, and let me explain, because
hold on before you explain.
I can totally explain the difference, because my background of being in close proximity to women in a friendship sense, not a actual.
No, women can't be friends. Shut up. You're lying.
And that's wrong. It's absolutely true. And
Oh yeah,
I'm
you
a
can absolutely
Protestant.
be friends with a woman that won't fuck you. Absolutely.
You can be friends,
There you go.
but that's wrong, because you can actually be friends with a woman who would. It's just that situation doesn't happen as much. So where I'm coming from is for what, 12 years, from when I was 12 to 21, I marched in a drum corps.
Oh, yeah, you were a drummer, huh?
No, I wasn't. I was in the color guard.
Oh,
So
shocking.
Oh, he
a
held a
drum
flag.
corps.
Do you have a
Flag.
flag?
You were a
Yeah,
faggot.
no, I learned how to spin flag and rifle. But here's the thing:
Ooh, he
I
didn't throw a
was
rifle in there.
literally
I
the
know.
only straight guy in this.
That
in
is
this
still up for
situation.
debate, my son. Still up for debate. Those blue eyes.
Sure, that's fine, but my record speaks for itself, so I don't need to explain myself. But being
That's the case,
in that
sir. Let's be
environment,
respectful.
and I'll explain why I got into it. So my brother at the time was played trumpet and wanted to be in marching band, and that was something that while he was in high school, he was really passionate about. He's 4 years older than me, so my parents wanted me to do something productive during the summers other than play video games or watch TV. So they made me join the same drum corps. I didn't want to learn an instrument like a trumpet, baritone, or whatever, mellophone. I didn't want to learn how to do drums because all of that shit takes a lot more attention, and I wasn't really musically inclined at the time. So I joined the color guard, which is predominantly made of females and gay men. Really, honestly, to be honest, just like male cheerleaders. I had to do it because I had no other options. My parents said, "You're going and you're trying this, and you're gonna go and do it multiple years." And after multiple years, I realized the education that I got from being around just a group of women, hearing how they talk about their relationships and about men in general, gave me an education to understand how women think. And women are generally, typically, just as sexually driven as men are. It's just a societal norm to be called a slut. I can't hear you at all, Jeff, by the way.
He's I can't hear him either, so
Yeah. Okay, good. I thought maybe I went mute. So that was my first venture in there. Then I also became a massage therapist um, as a career decision to be with an ex-girlfriend who said, "Hey, pick a career." And a friend of mine went into massage therapy, and I had a cousin who was a massage therapist as well. I was like, "Hey, this is probably going to be a great career to make, because what woman wouldn't want to have a massage therapist, right? Something easy for me to do that could also get me that sexual or that reproductive desire that I have. Beyond that, being in spas and massage parlors, or whatever you want to fucking call them, being predominantly women and gay men as well, I learned very easily just how closely aligned women's desires are physically to men's, far more than we think. It's just uh, uh, the what do you call it? The what's the word I'm looking for? The being ostracized for being overly sexual as a female is looked down upon in our society. You're called a slut, but a man who has many sexual partners is considered a stud, right? Which is a good thing. So what I learned is that even though women don't want to feel as if they're slutty, their their sexual desire is still similar to a man's. It's absolutely fucking true. And once I realized that that part of a female's mental or a female's desire for sex, I understood that I can let them know that this is all I'm looking for. And I have to give it a because that's what you do in sales is you give them a because, like a reason why you're wanting to do this thing. And if they're in the same alignment as you are, it's going to be okay. If they
Jeff, I
aren't,
feel like you're
they're
punishing
going to
me.
say
Jeff.
something.
I feel like you're punishing me.
I am. Yes.
No, the other Jeff by making me listen to you.
Oh, yeah, good. Either way, you're still punished, and I'm happy.
I must be more NASCAR like Trans Devil. Would have to agree with him. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Timmy.
Hey, Jake. Just so you know, my better half is listening from my left ear, and she's Team Jake. So just so you know.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Most women will
you
agree
can
with
never
me.
meet her. Never. You can never meet her. FYI.
And why I know this is because I've had so much experience, so much conversations, being the only straight male in a group of listening to females talk about their issues with their boyfriends and what they want, that I had a different education than most men have, because most men want to be manly and be away from the group of women, showing their manhood and not doing the same things that seem like color guard, which seems gay, to be honest. You know what I mean?
So you used your
experience to my advantage.
Your situation, your opportunity to educate yourself, and then
to create the experiences that I wanted to create.
Yeah,
that's NLP as well. Is using what I understand in order to manifest what I want.
Yeah,
and it worked really well. I was so surprised, by the way, how well it worked. That I used to brag about it until I realized, like, hey, it's just setting expectations, like in leading a team or management or coaching or business. It's the same fucking thing. That's why the game helped me understand sales so much better, because it's the same fucking thing. I'm selling what I want, which is I'm trying to get you to buy this thing that I want you to buy. And I understand that not everybody's going to buy that thing, but I got to look for the people who are more likely to buy that thing and focus more on those people. And that's what I created in my experience.
Yeah. So, John, if there's nothing deceitful in what he's doing, because it's not deceitful. Here's my perspective. Let me communicate in a way that's going to make you comfortable with the outcome, no matter what. And if you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. Mm-hmm. What about that is full of shit other than in your head too many words to get to that end result?
Mm-hmm. Like, because I think, I don't care what kind of experiences he's had. I don't care if he was a gay color guard or a gay masseuse. I don't care that he used.
By the way, if I gave you a massage, you would want me back. I just know I do that good a job. No homo on it, by the way.
Then why would I want you? Why would I want you back? See,
he doesn't.
That's right
he
there.
Doesn't. He doesn't talk when he rubs you, though. He's quiet.
Yeah. So what my part that's full of shit is that he knows he can say whatever he wants from his experience. Women absolutely, if you fuck them right and treat them right in that scenario, they catch feelings. And he may have laid the ground rules all.
I'm not. You're not in charge of anybody else's feelings other than your own.
Yeah, but I can't. With great power, with great power comes great
about me, because they'll say whatever they want to say about me, no matter what the fuck I do. If they're that
with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm. So, and I had great responsibility. That's why I set clear expectations, and that's why also too the end result was not a conflict between me with them, because because everything was clear and in the realm of the expectations that were set. It's just I broke the code enough to understand that, hey, they kind of want the same thing I want. They want to experiment too. In the ages when I did this, they wanted to experiment too and have those experiences, but they wanted to do it in a safe environment. But for a woman, for a female in the society that we've been brought up in, that safe environment means more of a committed relationship. But if you can break the fact that it needs to be a committed relationship, but you still are safe to explore and play and have those experiences, then you also get something from it too. But if that's not right for you, then let's stop it right away, because I also do genuinely care about that end result.
I don't know what VOT.FY.
I don't know. I've seen this a couple times. I didn't know why. FYI, VOT, FYI.
I'll just block the person.
Video out. I don't know.
I don't know. So we're never going to agree on this. So
that's wrong.
No, it's not, because I think you're full of shit. So
you don't think there's any possibility that we would ever agree, whether it's you coming to a new understanding or me coming to a new
on this subject? Absolutely not.
Good.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. See, that's the problem, is when you deal with definites like that, you lose the ability to grow in a way that you didn't know you could. If you always are
I have no interest in growing in the terms of manipulation. I have no interest. I'm good.
How is that manipulation? I that's the thing, is I didn't hear manipulation. I just heard a different approach to the same outcome.
I hear you, but I think the reason I call it bullshit is I still feel, I think if you do it right, there is a percentage of them that are going to catch feelings, and you
Everyone's
can say, you can set it up where you're on the moral high ground, where you've set these expectations, but I think it is inevitably going to happen, and that's where the bullshit in my brain.
But that's where the difference is it's not inevitable, but it is possible. And if I see that is happening, then I know I have to address that right away, so that her perception of the entire thing, or her understanding, or her feeling, whatever, is still a positive experience in saying, hey, look, I'm sensing that you're progressing more than I am. And if that's what you really want, and that might be what you've decided, through this new information that you got, that might be what you want. It's not here for you. It's not with me. And if it's not with me, that's okay. Let's cut the intimacy that we had, because I still appreciate you as a person. But the thing is unless I'm genuine in that approach, then in feeling that way of saying, hey, look, if you're catching more feelings and you want something more than I can give you, then you need to find it somewhere else. But that doesn't mean that you're not a valuable person in my life, because meeting you has brought something to me. And I truly, all joking aside, I truly believe that people who enter in my experience can bring something to me that makes me a greater person, and more of the person that I truly desire to be, more of that potential that I want to reach. So there's something that person can give me, because that's why they're in my experience. And so what can I learn from that person to be greater myself? And that's where the difference is because I absolutely believe that. So if all of a sudden they want more of a stronger relationship with somebody, more of a set or committed relationship, I get it. I now have to evaluate, do I want that with you? And if I don't, I'm going to tell you right away, because I don't want you to I don't want you to be on a different page than me, because that's not fair to you. I want you to know right where I am so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. And whatever decisions you make for yourself, that's your decision. And I will move forward with it until I sense a change from it, and I'll bring it up again. You know, same thing with why I actually got with my wife and made her my girlfriend and wanted to progress that. I didn't want to get married necessarily in my life. I never thought I would, until I met this woman who checked so many boxes that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I am more interested in being with you than I am with my life as it's going right now, because of what I see in you and how I feel with you. That's genuine, and I leave that opportunity open for everyone. It's just I had a high standard for what I would accept for that opportunity. I was just very clear in my understanding of what I wanted.
So your wife knows that you are skilled at conversation and skilled at dating without rejection.
Somewhat. I always play a little bit more humble.
That's a good
Uh,
idea.
because I believe it's important, because I know my own hubris is so actually huge, and my ego is so large that I could easily be misguided by it. So
Right.
I try to keep myself down to earth as much as I can.
Yeah. Anyway, when you fell in love, I saw a shift in you that I was uncomfortable and scary and excited and fascinated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, here's somebody who has a true desire to want to create as little conflict as possible, kind of bring as much, like joy and happiness to people, and try and make sure people are okay, and who's not going to set himself up to be heartbroken and lose perspective of who he is. And then
Or I'm okay with being heartbroken.
okay,
Actually, if I'm gonna go that way, that's a possibility,
okay.
right?
Well, it's kind of like what John said, is she's going to catch feelings. Like even if you go through this and you have this negotiation up front, which seems like if everybody was in their right mind and everybody was negotiating a contract just based on contract, ones and zeros, black and white, then sure, you could say that the approach was mutually beneficial to everybody involved. I think where John calls bullshit is, and maybe he means it personally, is assuming that the approach is going to work out the same way no matter what. Like, men are technically wired to have less attachment, and if you can walk away with no guilt with your association without that attachment anyway, then you walk away scot-free for the most part. We tend to walk away from those situations feeling like
But
we're
that's not true either, because that's kind of
oh,
a
really? You want me
misnomer.
to shut your shit off?
Men get attached just as easily as women do, in a lot of situations as well.
Just as like equal? I don't think equal.
Maybe not equal,
Biologically, I think not equal.
but in the
But a
same degree,
propensity to, yes.
yes,
I'm a
in the same
sensitive
degree
bitch.
that
I know I am.
women are willing to experiment and engage in casual relationships
That is
to
also correct.
fulfill their need.
Right.
It's an equal amount for men who are wanting to get more engaged with that woman than she's willing to, because you see all the time men who are more into a woman who's not realizing that that woman's not all that into him. It's the same thing.
Yeah. You see it, but I think when you look at the aggregate of personality traits, behaviors, things that are driven hormonally by men and women, there are things that
Sure.
are dissimilar over time, over populations, that we can say are true.
Men can plant more seeds than women can cultivate those seeds, right? It is biology.
Okay, I wasn't talking about biology, but
Sure.
cool. You're right. Yes, we have more seeds than they have. We have more phalluses than they have chalices.
But
No.
but that's a part of it because men can make many women fertile, which it increases the population of that species, right?
Yeah.
And that's a instinctual driver for men is to plant as many seeds as possible.
Yep. Understood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Women don't have
I
that
mean,
luxury.
across the population, you have outliers in every area. I get that.
Mm-hmm. But we produce sperm all the time. Women have a set number of eggs.
Yeah.
There's a difference in the ability to reproduce between male and female. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I'm not sure if you're helping or hurting the argument.
I don't think it has anything to do with the argument.
I'm just furthering the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. There's bio. I think I was trying to find where the common ground was. That was it.
Oh,
the common ground is there are differences, and yet there are similarities. And with the differences, there are certain things that tend to be more often than not differences that are less negotiated. What you're saying is that when it comes to desire and sexual desire, there are certain things that are nurture. There are certain things that are intrinsic in society that dictates that you're going to be defined as such if you do these behaviors, and you're going to be defined as such if you do these behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
The middle ground that you have found that was worked for you is to have an open, honest negotiation about what it is you're trying to accomplish, where your touch points would be, and and to communicate and be able to back out if necessary. Now you're an expressive communicator and you're an emotional communicator, which is going to work well with women more often than not. That's a fucking fact. It's a skill you have tapped into because of gay color flag women, whatever
I learned it worked. Yeah.
Whatever your life experiences are, that gave you the opportunity to learn to communicate that way, and there's nothing wrong with it.
So Tim asked a great question, by the way, Jeff. Not to interrupt you, but Tim asked, with your experience, Jake, how many as a percentage would you have said that strings attached would have strings attached? Meaning, I guess, caught feelings. Would that be probably what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. So my initial
and how do you know?
My initial answer would be maybe 1%.
God, you didn't go down on them at all. Jesus Christ.
Hold on.
Now I know why, Jeff. Now it all makes sense to me.
I'm a giver, not a receiver. I would say 1%, and only because as soon as I felt that their expectation of the relationship was higher than mine, I would I would revisit where my expectations are and get a new commitment to where they felt that they were, whether that was to continue on or to part ways as friends. It was such a low number, and that was due to the expectations that I set up front before I got intimate.
Wow.
They get intimate, not before. And it feels awkward to do that, but every time when I would, I would say this, or maybe we'll say 10%, because I'll say 90% of the women that I were with in that time, 90% thanked me for my honesty and had no hard feelings afterwards, and we could communicate months down the road as if we were friends, not even on an intimate level, with very, very little angst between us, if any. And on that note, I gotta go tinkle.
You guys need a hug?
BRB.
He's coming back.
I thought you had to end this. What happened?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I do. I need to end this.
Well, why are we still going then?
Fascination, Timmy. Timmy. Timmy's
Tim,
like, what
Tim,
the fuck
Tim.
is this train wreck? I love this show. Timmy, if you had more friends, we'd have more followers. So can you tell more people? Come on.
Come on, Tim.
Come on, son.
Tim.
Let's we should gift him with a couple of subs that he can hand out. I'll gift you. I'll throw you some subs. You hand them out to some friends. You guys are so similar and yet diametrically opposed to how you approach the way you approach things that I had this feeling deep in the cockles of my heart that it was going to either go this way or that way. I don't know which way is which, but when Jake was in chat and I was like, he's limited by how fast he can type,
Right.
and he uses a lot of words to express himself.
Yes.
The first time we
right.
did training in February of 2015, and I was teaching him how to be a trainer and teaching him how to, you got to address a room, you got to just different learning styles. You have to, you can't just lecture, you can't just write on the board. I mean, you have to mix it up. I went and bought a dog clicker at the pet store, and I said, I'm going to help you. So if you're going on a tangent, I'll just hit the dog clicker in the back of the room, and you'll know it's time to switch gears. Full on Pavlovian training. So, I think I'm being cute, and he's going on his master thesis on the word is, and I realize, we're running over by an hour, and he's like, huh? And he's all right. Yeah, I'm done. All right, that's it, guys. Go on break. And I was like, all right, good job. You were able to respond to the clicker. That's good. You just have more words than most people to explain the thing. And I know you're looking for everyone to have a compliant reaction, but you can't get everyone. We're dealing with groupthink. So groupthink is going to be a little bit different. We're not starting a cult. We're teaching sales for a company.
Right.
So we got to get to the behaviors. Can they execute the said behaviors? Not everyone has to agree that they do the behaviors because they love them. They just have to understand execution, expectation of outcome, and result. So I get up and I'm doing the next bit. I'm like, let me show you how to do such and such, whatever the next thing was. And I'm up there and I realize it's just like right now, because someone told me that I have gone off the deep end on whatever my topic was, and all of a sudden, this is pre-divorce, so I wasn't angry at the world. Training was my therapy during divorce. I was like, let me tell you about this bitch. So this is why Social Security is important, how you can maximize it. Now that bitch, it was bad. Everybody knew more about my personal life than they should have. That's what my manager would say. Hey, little feedback from the last training class. Less dice clay, more train. I was like, what? I don't know how to talk like, suck my dick. Yeah, okay, I do. Sorry. But I'm going on my tangent. Apparently, I'm going over my time, and I hear in the back of the room, motherfucker, are you clicking me right now? Are you
I would have
clicking
paid
me?
money to
Are
see
you
that.
clicking me right now?
That is outstanding.
No, you didn't just click me. It's like dice. This is literally dice. I'm like, you don't fuck dice. Dice does the fucking.
That's right.
I was so
You don't
beside
click
myself.
me. You don't fucking click me.
That's
I
right.
click you.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
that's
right. I got
outstanding.
a taste of my own medicine. I was okay. Well, this is why you don't challenge somebody's manhood and fucking jump. Are you a grown ass man? And as soon as somebody reversed,
well, you don't understand. So you don't understand. I don't understand. No, I fucking understand exactly.
so we all have different communication styles, and some of it works for some it doesn't for others. What I find valuable is for Jake, and if you're listening, I hope you are. I can't see you on the camera. I think you're laying next to your wife naked right now, and you just don't want us to see it. And she's really hot, by the way.
Lucky bastard.
She's a cutie. She's a sweetheart. She's very smart. She's very driven. And I think that she NLP'd him. I think she just brainwashed him, and he's like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." Nah. What was that? He's a good person. Like his heart is in the right place. Um, it just doesn't translate to everyone's way of how they digest the world. I love the fact that I can sit back and I go, I've spent a lot of time with him. I spent a lot of time with you. I spent a lot of time with people that are, still in my circle for whatever reason. And at the end of the day, if you do the things that you love and you want to discuss the things that are part of your value system and part of your morals and your philosophy, and you're genuine about it, you're going to attract like-minded people.
Mhm.
And
You're going to attract exactly what you want in your
like-minded
or what you're looking for.
doesn't mean that they don't overtalk you. Like-minded people doesn't mean that everyone has the same approach. And I love you, buddy. That's what I respect is we don't have to have the same approach on how we do things, but what you find out is at the end of the day, you have the same general perspective and you have the same, these are the things that are important, you tend to. Otherwise, we wouldn't congregate together in the first place. It wouldn't make sense. But we don't have to buy into each other's methodology today. We don't have to. But it's in your head, and someday you're possibly gonna go, huh? Well, I'm glad I had that experience. Or you're gonna say, fucking Jake, get out of my head. There's so much noise. You're making so much noise, Jake. And then Jake rolls over to his 28-year-old wife and says, John who? So that's very possible.
Doesn't fucking matter who John is because I ended up in the situation that I dreamed that I wanted. And absolutely, when I met my wife that first night, I knew I was in for a lifestyle change. I knew my lifestyle was going to change, and I knew that it was so powerful that it almost felt like I didn't have control over it, which made it scary. But at the end of the day, it was so powerful that I needed to go for it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking his lifestyle change would be no more color guard.
Yeah, it's true. She was like, quit that queer stuff. Quit talking so much.
Like, stop rubbing guys until
let's go.
You're absolutely not wrong. Like, stop talking so much. She also just told me that not too long ago. You've been talking for 4 hours. Shut the fuck up.
You're not allowed to play with Jeff Adams anymore. This happens all the time. People, I'm like, I'm having a great time, and they're like, yeah, because you're technically single, so like you don't have a bedtime. You do what you want, and they're like, these other people have relationships that are being destroyed because of you. No, they're being enhanced. Meanwhile, my girl's in my left ear going, I think I love you. I think I love you. I love Jake for sure. I love John a little. Depends on my mood.
You can love John more. It's okay. You've known him longer. I'll be the side chick. It's fine.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I knew him before this. Yeah. I don't know. I think I want to be both of your side chick. Is that good?
Yeah, deal.
I don't usually give up top ever. It's not my thing, but you can bite my nipples. It's fine.
Dude, why is my camera not working? I just don't understand.
Mine's blurry now, so don't know what happened there.
It's strong.
Yeah, this is
you need to go
weird.
to bed. Yep, I was saying it's time to go to bed, gentlemen. So
all right,
yeah, man.
We're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate both of you.
I just want to say thank you for the invite. I do, and I hope I brought a little bit more vim and vigor this evening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Last night you had no perspective. This time you're like, Jake, you're full of shit.
Jake, I don't want you to be. I don't take offense to anything that I ever say, please.
None ever taken, because look, at the end of the day, all I can control is my thoughts, my feelings, my reactions to things. Right? I can't control other people. That's their responsibility. But
you can manipulate them.
I can always grab a new piece of information from any interaction that I have with somebody to make me even better.
Perfect.
Anybody ever
and I appreciate you, John, and you're challenging too, because it makes.
I'm sorry. Hold on, Jake.
Okay.
Oh, what were you saying?
I was saying I appreciate his perspective, because it challenged me in a way to be able to grow and be more of who I want to be. It gives me new information, which I can use to understand the world better.
Tuck in and solidify your position. If this is your position, then own it. Don't be afraid of it. And sometimes we all have to reevaluate. That's a fucking fact. We all
Almost
have
constantly.
to reevaluate. Yep. Outstanding. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. You have a fantastic night. John,
Yes.
my trans devil.
What I was just tell me I was better. Just was I
You were
better?
100% better.
Okay.
You were so much better just being caustic and with fucking with Jake than you were half asleep and drunk or whatever you were. I didn't realize you were intoxicated. With me, I was like, "Hey Jake, come check it out. We have such good chemistry."
I was
And I was like,
stoned. It's
"Who poured
really-
water into my fucking vinegar?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I was the main driver of the last podcast in the chat. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
I'm sorry.
Or you're
Less
welcome.
words. You don't
Either
type
way.
that fast.
I feel bad. All right.
All right, guys. We'll do
You
it
guys have
again.
a good night.
Hey, good
love
night.
you guys. Good night.
Hey, thanks for having me on, by the way.
My pleasure, my friend. We'll do it again.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right. Peace,
All right,
homie.
good night. All right. Well, were they fighting or fucking at the end? I'm not sure, but I think they have a healthy respect for themselves and where they are. Yeah, I like what I said before. If you do what you love, then you're going to attract like-minded people. And I don't tend to attract people into my life that don't, at least at their core, have strong established values, whatever they might be. They're not usually values that are going to be, well, let's just say we're all going to figure out how to get along. At the when it comes down to it, if we don't have the certain things that are important to us, which is family, community, friendship, the tribe, for whatever it's worth, because it's worth something. Our base sense of morality, spirituality, and being involved in something that's bigger and greater than we are, because at the end of the day, we realize we are all hurtling quickly towards our death. And if we stop and look around, we realize we're pretty small in the grand scheme of things. We've all come into things by our own experiences, and we've all figured out a way to communicate them. And I don't know, in a world where it seems like the tribe is disappearing and the connections are disappearing, that has made this all valuable. For whatever my little piece and my little contribution is, I'm blessed to have friends and acquaintances and members of the tribe who are willing to come together and share those thoughts and ideas. And that also means you guys. So I appreciate it. If you're watching this video on demand, give it a whatever it takes to say something positive, share it with a friend. We'll keep growing this thing, and we'll make ourselves better in the end by doing so. So that is it. Go love your significant other, or go love yourself. But remember, love each other. Have a good night.